Is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you. Hello, is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you.
What are you doing?
Calling around to get the best rate on a car loan.
Why? Everyone knows Alcoa 10 is the best choice to purchase a vehicle or refinance your current loan. And with low interest rates and 90 days to your first payment, it's a no-brainer. You can even apply online and sign all the documents from the convenience of your home.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
Alcoa 10 Credit Union. It's so easy. Go to atfcu.com for details. Rates are dependent on credit score and equal housing lender.
With smartphones being such an integral part of our daily lives, it is truly an inconvenience when it doesn't work properly. It disrupts the normalcy of our day. When you go into the cell phone store to have it repaired, they just try to upsell you on a new phone. That's why the owner of iDrop, T. Kell, left those places and opened iDrop. His goal is a happy customer. T. Kell and the team will listen to what you have going on and work to solve the problem of your broken device in a way that best suits your needs, instead of trying to upsell you on something that you just don't need. They don't just repair phones, they can service your laptop or PC as well as your Mac. Windows 7 support is over, but iDrop can help you transition to Windows 10. They have a 5-star rating on Google with hundreds of positive reviews. Let me say that again. I don't think y'all understand how big this is. They have a 5-star rating on Google. Their customer service really speaks for itself. So if you ever find yourself with a device that isn't performing as it should, give iDrop a call at 865-888-9740 or check them out on Facebook at iDrop of Knoxville. If man made it, they can fix it.
Is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you. Hello, is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you.
What are you doing?
Calling around to get the best rate on a car loan.
Why? Everyone knows Alcoa 10 is the best choice to purchase a vehicle or refinance your current loan. And with low interest rates and 90 days to your first payment, it's a no-brainer. You can even apply online and sign all the documents from the convenience of your home.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
Alcoa 10 Credit Union. It's so easy. Go to atfcu.com for details. Rates are dependent on credit score and equal housing lender.
Deep down the middle's got his man, and he's gone. Jason Swain, touchdown.
It's time for the Swain Event with your host, Jason Swain.
My man.
Real sports talk for the real sports fan.
All you chumps are gonna bow when I whoop him.
It's time for the Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
Give me 2 claps and a Ric Flair.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. Hope you're having a great year so far as we take you to 2022 here in the Swain Event. I'm live here from the Low T Center studio. We got my man Ben McKee. He is in Knoxville, but he is at the house because it is finally winter. Finally winter in East Tennessee, and roads are not great. We want to make sure where Ben is, he's going to be super safe. And he is dialing in from the house. And this is why we have the technology and invested all the money that we did in this equipment for moments like this. Ben McKee, Jason Swain. Download the free Swain Event app for Android, Apple devices. You can view the show by simply going to Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook Live. Ben McKee, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Oos, from the Ben McKee studio this morning.
Yeah, man.
I haven't talked to you since last year. You been all right?
I've been good, my friend. I've been good, man. It's been, I'm not going to lie, Saturday, what was the game? The game was Thursday. So Friday, I've never slept that much in my life, man. Probably since I was a little baby. Like Friday I took like 2.5 naps, man. And then I went to bed early. Friday was all about recovering. I was on a scale from 1 to 10, a 9 as far as being upset. And I think I'm still close to about, I think I'm like a 7 right now. I'm still a little mad about the game, man. Still upset.
Yeah, I'm still frustrated as well. I went back and watched the game on New Year's Day, and it was just as frustrating to watch then, if not more frustrating, honestly, because you get to watching and I'm jotting down notes and all the opportunities Tennessee had in the second quarter offensively, and it was just silly things, self-inflicted wounds, personal fouls, illegal formations, guys running deep ball or deep routes, go routes in the same spot of the field, just self-inflicted wounds all throughout that second quarter, and then plenty of opportunities in the second half to put the game away as well. So when I went back and watched it, Swain, I was just as frustrated, if not more frustrated, knowing all the opportunities Tennessee had to win that football game as I was watching it live.
Man, I'm afraid to go back and watch it because then I'll be at a 10. Imagine being in the crowd with everybody, and that was me on Thursday with my kids, and like seeing it live, like the mistakes and the errors from the coaching standpoint and from a player standpoint, because it's not something you can just point at the players and go, "Hey man, they put us in position. Got back to play." There was times when I was like, "No, that's not what we need to be doing right now." There's some questionable calls. There was clock management at the end of the regulation that just makes you want to pull your hair out. And this was the first game all season long where Heupel and Hendon had their worst game of the season together, and it cost Tennessee. Now the guys played hard. Players play hard. Most of the players play hard most of the time. The times when you didn't get that effort is when you need one play to win, and you came up short. But I thought for the most part, man, the guys they played hard. Talk about that strain. They most of the players did that most of the time. But I'm afraid to go back and watch it, man. I mean, I'll be at a 10. I'm trying to move on. The Lady Vols beat Arkansas.
Yes, and beat Arkansas after beating Alabama on Thursday.
It's supposed to be Alabama.
I know, but still, it's still nice to beat Alabama. And I'm more so mentioning it because it was kind of forgotten about because of the bowl game going on.
Yeah.
So 2-0 start. Ray Burrell back hits a 3 as soon as she checks into the game. That was cool.
Oh yeah, man. Tennessee had the come back from behind victory over Arkansas. Arkansas is a program that has been in good shape, healthy. Now they lost some players, but they're still a good program, and Tennessee gets the win there. And like you said, starting SEC play undefeated. The men's team, we got some work. We got some work now. We didn't get a chance to really talk about the men's team because it was right there the night before the bowl game, and this is as close as normal as we're going to get here in the Swain event. Last week was crazy. Went to Nashville, hosted a UT alumni event there, and was really unable. Thousands of different ways to try to make it work. Unable to do a show the day of the game, and that stunk. And then after the game, you went to Huntsville. I came back to Knoxville. Got up early and did the show, and this is probably the closest thing we've had to normal. We get you back in here when the weather acts right, then that'll be normal. But we didn't get a chance to really dive into the Tennessee-Alabama game. Not going to really do it today, but we missed an opportunity, man. I mean, we missed an opportunity. I thought the guys that did play, they played hard, and for a time there, I thought Tennessee was going to pull it out, man, but just collapsed at the second half, and Alabama was able to make shots. Remember last week we were like, hey man, the two guys we can't afford to be not out there, John Fulkerson and Kennedy Chandler. And what do you know? Those two guys were out. And it showed. I think Tennessee's a better basketball team than Alabama, man. I really do.
Yes, I did not think Alabama played that well. I know they ended up winning and they were able to hit some shots at the end, but I did not think Alabama played well at all. Jaden Shackelford, Javon Quinterly, two really good players who will play in the NBA. They did not have good games. And if John Fulkerson plays, if Kennedy Chandler plays, Tennessee wins that basketball game. I thought it really boiled down to Tennessee not having somebody that they could throw the ball to at the end of the game. And they really missed John Fulkerson in that regard. We had just watched Fulke take over the end of the Arizona game when Tennessee needed buckets. And when Tennessee needed a bucket against Alabama, they didn't really have anybody to throw the basketball to. And I know there's other elements and factors that go into that, Swain. I mean, you still have Santiago Vescovi. You still got Josiah Jordan-James. There are guys capable of making shots that were still available to play. Justin Powell, although he was not in the game, that's a separate conversation. So still should have found a way to win that game because Alabama was not playing well, but hard not to think that that's where you missed John Fulkerson the most, to where at those last 3, 4, 5 minutes, Swain, when it was tough to get a basket and you needed somebody to grab the bull by the horns, especially coming off the Arizona game, sure would have been nice to have Fulke to throw the ball to and allow him to go get you some buckets. And Alabama's post players were in foul trouble. So Fulke being in and being able to draw fouls would have been nice. And they were, I know shots weren't falling from Olivier Camwa, and Urosh didn't contribute much from a points perspective, but I didn't feel like Alabama's post players were playing all that well. So Tennessee really missed John Fulkerson. Would have been nice to have him, but still left that game with disappointment because it feels like you let one slip away.
Yeah, for sure. And you appreciate Rick Barnes' respect for the game of basketball because you played that game with the two best players not out there, and you owed it to the fans, you owed it to the game to play that game, and the guys went out there and they gave it their all. You didn't execute in the key moments. You mentioned Alabama not playing well, and it's not a situation where I think Alabama has played great all season and they're one of the top teams in the country and we just caught them on a bad night. Alabama has been playing poorly for multiple games. And maybe they get out that funk. Maybe we see a better team, if we see them again in the future. But I think Tennessee is still a better basketball team. And I look forward to playing those guys again in the near future and being able to show that we are a better team. So that happened on Wednesday, and the game was Thursday, and now it's time to really focus on what Tennessee football needs to do moving forward. And the first thing is to put out a Craigslist ad for a couple positions.
A couple?
Nah, I mean, hey, a couple got us beat. We all know that every position needs to be addressed. Every team around the country will look at their roster and say, hey, man, let's go recruit every position. Like, every position needs to be addressed, especially on Tennessee's roster. Every position needs to be addressed. But there's some positions that require desperation.
Yes, like you have an SOS sign out for help at that position.
Yes. It is time.
You have crashed on an island. Your airplane has crashed on an island, and you are sending up flares in the sky, orange, red, blue, yellow, all kinds of colors of flares trying to send out a message that help is needed. You're building the world's largest campfire to try and get somebody's attention. You're
pitching a tent.
You're finding all the sticks, the trees, the limbs to write out "help me, help us" on the beach. I mean, you're trying everything at a couple of these positions.
I feel like Gilligan's Island right now, man. I feel like Gilligan's Island. I think I have this down for touchdown turnover today, but I don't know if we're gonna be able to make it to 8:00 to discuss this because it was glaring of what this staff needs to do in recruiting. in the transfer portal to make this team better. Because it's about getting better. Won 7 games, had a chance to win 8. It's about getting better, taking another step forward. You don't want to take a step back. So how do you get better? Well, you got to get better players in key areas. And I don't know which position needs the most help between linebacker and corner. I don't know which one needs more help, man.
Well, I would argue that Tennessee needs more help at safety than either of those two positions. That's the current state of the Tennessee defense.
Man, I wish I had. I'm trying to see and think of an argument against you there, but I don't know which one is more pressing than the other. I really don't.
I don't have any faith or trust in number 1 or number 22 going into 2022. I have zero confidence, zero faith. I think teams are going to identify those two on film this offseason when looking ahead to the Tennessee game on their schedule, and they are going to get very happy watching that film.
Well,
at least at linebacker, you've got Jeremy Banks. I kind of liked some of the things Kamal Hadden did against Purdue. I mean, he didn't play great, but he was really solid. I like the attitude that he plays with, the intensity that he plays with, and he was battling injury throughout that game. So, I mean, at least you've got a guy at those two positions. I don't think you have anything at safety. I'm sorry to be that blunt. And look, I'll also say, like, hey, coming into this season, I was completely out on Theo Jackson. And Theo Jackson had a season in which he might have gotten himself drafted. So I'm not saying it can't happen for number 22 and number 21, Trayvon Flowers and Jalen McCullough, but I personally do not have any faith in them going into next season, quite frankly.
I'm trying to go and look and see how many rushing yards per game did Purdue have going into this game. Obviously, they had.
Here's what you need to know about that, Swain.
They had too much. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, going into the game, they were worst in the country in yards per rush at 2.8. And their two running backs, if you can even call them both running backs, because the white guy was a fullback.
Fake Mike Ostad.
Yeah. They combined to average, I think it was 3.8 yards per rush, nearly 4 yards a carry. So 2.8 entering the game, which according to Cole Kubelik, that was worst in the country. And in the game against Tennessee, combined for nearly 4 yards a rush.
Yeah. I'm sitting here looking at it, man. 27 carries, 107 yards for those guys. King had, I mean, they both averaged over 3.4 yards per rush, like you just said. So linebackers certainly a need. Safety certainly a need. Corner certainly a need. And if you are Tennessee, man, you got playing time. Like, you have playing time to offer in the transfer portal. If you're a freshman, you have an opportunity to come in and be the guy. But for Jeff Brom to dial up plays, and Brian, because Brian is offense coordinator there, his brother, Brian was – I remember Brian and Brom and Angel, and they visit together, and those dudes was having a throwing competition on their visit. Me and Rick gassed them up. Me and Rick Clausen, we gassed them up. So, I think that's Johnny Majors. What street is Johnny Majors? Is that the street that what street has the torch bearer on it? What street is that? Is that Volunteer?
The one, I think so.
Okay.
Volunteer Boulevard.
I think that's Volunteer Boulevard. So
and Johnny Majors is it looks like Johnny Majors Drive is the little street in between Stokely and the football complex. Volunteer Boulevard is the one that runs in front of Circle Park.
Okay. So it's Volunteer Boulevard. So right before or right after you pass Stokely, there's a light right there, and Humanities, that building's on the left. And so there's a little hill. There's a little hill right there at that light. And back when it was Gibbs, you could stand in the grass in Gibbs, and then across the street, there was like a little grass area, like a little hill. And Brom and Ainge was throwing across the street, having a throwing contest during the visit in 2004. I'll never forget it. Never forget it. And we kind of knew that Brom was going to go to Louisville because of his brother and his ties there. But it was hilarious to see those two guys like have like a macho moment, trying to outthrow each other. And I think Ainge outthrew him. I think he did, man. I think he outthrew him a little bit. But anyways, but he called a good game. He called a great game. Great game. And those players executed, and man, certainly a bad taste in your mouth going into the offseason. This is why, for some teams, the ball game is very, very important. For other teams, man, it doesn't really matter what happens, good or bad. But for Tennessee, man, we had a lot of momentum that could have continued into the offseason, full steam ahead with that win. Now, there's still some positive momentum, but not as much as it could have been if you would have picked up this win. But if you are a coach on this roster, man, if you're a player on this roster, it's time to hit that transfer portal, and you got to hit it hard. You got to hit it hard. We got to take a break, and then when we come back from our break, man, I got to get an update from you, Ben. I need an update, man. I need an update on man, people in the portal. That's what I need an update on, man. People in the portal. What's going on with Tennessee? Is Tennessee going to get themselves another pass rusher, edge rusher? Where is Tennessee looking, man, in terms of recruiting, adding talent?
I've got you.
I mean, last time I checked, you worked at VolQuest, right?
This is true, but I do not control the news.
You the source, right? Are you the source for all things Vols? That's what it said on the website.
Yes. But I do not control the news or Tennessee's actions.
All right. Well, we all we can ask for is an update on the third day of the year in the 7:00 hour, and if there's good information, then great. If it's not, then we'll give you what you got, what we have, and what's out there, and then we'll keep it rolling. And when that changes, then we'll update. 865-255-03, Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. Be right back.
If you want to get in on the conversation, call the Iris Networks hotline at 865-200-5503. Grow your business with Iris Networks high-speed fiber internet. IrisNetworksUSA.com.
Hi there, Swain Event family. Are you in the market to purchase a home and a bit freaked out with the market right now? As someone who's been in your spot before, I'm familiar with what's going through your brain. And as a realtor, I've mastered the ins and outs of the buying process. When you work with me, you'll benefit from my experience, and together we'll work toward making sound, smart decisions for your future. And of course, talk a little Vol Sports along the way. Just give me a call, Jennifer Morris, Keller Williams Realty, 865-257-7897, or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com. Hope to hear from you soon.
When you start your own business, you know that branding can make or break a new venture. That's why Swain Event relies on 42nd Street. 42nd Street is a strategy agency focused on finding creative, open-minded, results-driven solutions to brand design. After over a decade of operations in East Tennessee, the brand architects at 42nd Street have the experience and creative know-how to ensure the success of your business branding, logo, web presence, and more. To see a real-life example of their amazing work, you can check out our website at swainevent.com. Don't trust the branding of your business to just anyone. Check out my friends at 42nd Street online at 42st.com or give them a call at 865-382-7007. 42nd Street, brand, strategy, design. JC's Tree and Landscaping Service specializes in quality tree work done at an affordable price. Trimming and removing trees are their specialty. They also offer other services like land clearing, stump grinding, crane services, and all of your basic landscaping needs for both commercial and residential. JC's will give you a free estimate and beat any written quote by a competitor to guarantee that you get the lowest price around. Don't risk your land with a fly-by-night service. JC's Tree and Landscaping is licensed and insured. Give them a call at 865-599-3799.
Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End Barbecue is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering from Chow Now for pickup. Or if you don't feel like leaving the house, then have Dead End Barbecue delivered right to your door by Loco Knoxville or Bite Squad. Cheer on your favorite team with the best barbecue around. Check them out online at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
For a replay of each day's Swain Event TV, like us on Facebook.
Come on, Ben. Come on, Ben. I need all the good news and positive vibes about the roster and how it's going to look moving forward. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Hour 1 is brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. HappyHiller.com. Hope you are happy this morning. New year, new you. New year, new you. Ben, are you going to be cooler this year, man?
I'll try. No promises.
Okay.
Are you going to be less mean? Are you going to be a better friend this year? Because all you did last year was root against my teams and didn't help me move. And, you know, with me becoming a father this year, it'd be nice to have somebody who I see every single day, communicate with every single day that isn't a family member, be nice and be a good friend this year.
The part about not helping you move is accurate. Tonight, I will be rooting for the Steelers. Monday Night Football. I want to see them get to the playoffs. I'm a big Mike Tomlin fan for the 37th time. I hope it happens. I really do, man. I hope it happens.
Big Ben's last home game.
Maybe, but you want him back, so maybe he comes back.
Well, I want him back based off of the options I currently see available.
Gotcha. No, my plan is to be a better friend.
Well, that's good.
I got a lot of goals. I gotta, get knocked down, man. Got to write it down and look at it every day, and I hope everyone has goals out there for 2022. We got a phone call though. I don't know who it is because
yes.
Now you ain't gonna get out of telling us what's going on with these recruits, man. After watching that game, during the game, I was like, "Yo, we gotta replace him. We gotta replace
new phone. Who this?
We gotta replace him. We need some help." All right, so I am producing today, as well as co-hosted. Ben McKee is is at the house because of crazy snow conditions. Listen, if you are listening from up north and you're laughing, be quiet. We don't know how to deal with the snow down here, okay? We're not prepared to deal with the snow like you are. If you live in Wisconsin, or if you live in Chicago, if you live up east, don't be laughing at us Southerners. We shut things down when it snows a little bit because we're not prepared for it like y'all.
Especially when you really need new tires, which is my current situation. For some reason, Nick Saban didn't hit me back up for my request when I requested new tires on the Charger. For some reason, he didn't hit me back. So if I had some fresh tires on, then I would have been fine this morning. But my tires are as bald as Swain and I.
Dang, that's pretty bald. So since I'm producing, if you call in, I'm gonna put you immediately on hold. We're gonna patch you straight through. Just let us know who you are, where you're calling from, and we'll do it that way this morning. So, good morning. Who do we have?
This is Don Sweetwater.
Hey, what's up, Don?
Oh, man, I tell you what, I'm just sitting here looking out my window at the frozen south. Now, I'm down here, so I'm sure you guys got a little more snow. We got white, but that's about it.
Yeah, we got some snow, man. My dog, I took my dog out this morning. He looked at me like, what's that?
You're right.
It's his first time seeing snow. He was like, I don't know about this.
Yeah, your dog was kind of like a cartoon I've seen on social media back around Christmas where they got the Christmas tree up and the dog's saying, "Oh, look, indoor plumbing."
Yeah, he was more than happy to use the bathroom in the house rather than go outside. But no, I wasn't gonna let that fly. But yeah, man, the snow is something we haven't seen in a long time around here.
75 degrees or 73 degrees on Saturday and snow on Sunday night or Monday.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm ready for 2021 to be over. Happy New Year, guys. It was a pretty good year. Enjoyed the sports scene for the most part, but I tell you what, the last few days of the year was not anything to make me very happy. I am not over the ball game on Thursday. Everybody says get over it. I'm not over it.
I'm not either.
You know, I watched a lot of football, a lot of bowl games over the last, couple of weeks. And to my knowledge, unless it's one or two I might have missed out on some of the, lesser bowls or something, the only one that ended in controversy was Tennessee's. And have you ever noticed every time a Tennessee game ends in controversy, we're on the short end of the stick?
Seems like it, man. It seems like it. I mean, there's a lot of great games out there. And Tennessee-Purdue game was one of those great games, man. I mean, it really was. I was sitting there like, man, this is just a great game. And being on the edge of your seat, big plays left and right. It was just like the Rose Bowl, except for you didn't have the prestige, and you actually had a real football field that wasn't, trash.
Right.
And then officiating wasn't so bad, but it was a good game.
Oh, it was too entertaining for me on the Purdue side, but that last 5 minutes was absolutely ridiculous. 4 touchdowns, last 5 minutes, and if Purdue don't get by with one of the most blatant hoes of a receiver ever known to mankind, there would have been 5 touchdowns in the last 5 minutes, and we'd have went home a winner. The aggravating and irritating thing about that is they're calling pass interference every time you look around. Now, some of them are very legit. I'm just saying, how do you miss something that's just right there in plain view?
It's amazing, Dom, because on double moves, DBs are taught. They're told on double moves, if you get beat, to grab and hold. And so if you are a referee, if you are an official, you should know that. On double moves, that's where the grabbing and the holding takes place the most. And the guy has his arm out grabbing Tillman's jersey, and you can see it. You can see it.
There's plenty of frozen frames if you want to look.
I know it. I know it.
We played 2 games this year with ACC officials. Excuse me. That game and the Pitt game, and they still haven't figured out how to spot a ball. I mean, all night long, they were spotting the ball short on us. A foot and a half, whatever it took to keep it from being a first down or whatever. But just get you and Ben's, actual thoughts on basically the play that ended the game, even though it didn't quite. I've never seen when somebody's fighting for the end zone, forward motion call, and I've never seen forward motion called when you don't blow the whistle until after the play's over.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either. I was confused sitting there and watching it live, and then the replay clearly showed that Wright had crossed the goal line. And if you want to flag, fan for pulling,
that's fine. We'll kick the field goal.
If you want to flag them, then throw the flag. But the fact they didn't do that.
Nope.
They didn't do that, nor did they blow the whistle before Wright scored a touchdown. So it just tells you everything you know about how bad the call was when you saw like every sports person, whether they were against us or with us, national, local, everybody watching that game was like, yo, Tennessee just got hosed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everyone saw it.
Yeah. When you got Kentucky, Georgia, Alabama fans saying Tennessee got shafted, you know it's got to be bad.
Yeah.
They hate us.
On Saturday or Friday, I guess Friday and Saturday, I walked into the grocery store by my parents' house in Huntsville, and I had a Tennessee hat on, and the very first thing that was said to me by an Alabama fan wearing Alabama stuff, man, y'all got screwed last night. And then as I was leaving, there's another person, one of the persons that worked at the grocery store who was collecting the carts outside, said, man, that was rough last night. Y'all, the refs got y'all. Y'all won that game. How? I mean, it just didn't make any sense. I walk into my in-laws' house, diehard Auburn fans who were watching. Y'all got robbed last night. I mean, when you have Alabama fans and Auburn fans, like you just said, Don, texting you and seeing you out in public and saying, oh, y'all got screwed, you know you got screwed.
Yeah, and some of the media that's not exactly Tennessee friendly, they were even on board. I'm like, well, when these guys are saying we got it, and they normally look for any reason whatsoever to take a shot at Tennessee. I mean, apparently the only people in the country that didn't think that was a touchdown was that official and all the Purdue fans. Now, if you read their message board, I mean, they got a totally different perspective on the whole thing. Hey, no, his forward motion was stopped and blah, blah, blah.
Hey, they didn't
but
blow
we
the
should
whistle.
never have been in – I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. They didn't blow the whistle, so.
No. And they said, well, the whistle don't matter. And then, they're
Which
quoting
is
this
stupid.
person, that person. Yeah, right.
The whistle's like the red light that tells you to stop.
I was listening to Cole Kulick talk, and he's just sharing the rule. But apparently the rule allows for the referee to determine in his head, okay, the play is done, and then blow his whistle. He can deem the play dead without blowing his whistle, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, because the players on the field are still going to play. How can a whistle not blow, but then a referee decide a second or two or three before the whistle actually blows in his head that the play is dead? I mean, how is that a rule?
Well, it's a stupid, I read that and heard that, but I even saw officials weighing in on it, and I ain't seen one yet that said, no, that was good. It's just ridiculous. But talking about plays and whether it's dead and not, of course, we had the Ole Miss forward motion thing, etc. But going back to that Pitt game, when Milton got hurt, he's laying on his back with the ball, and a guy picks it up basically off his chest and takes off. Why is that not forward motion when the guy's laid out with the ball? I mean, it's just I don't know. It's just, I can go all the way back, to the pass against Florida. You go to the extra down against North Carolina in that stupid Music City Bowl, which I hope we never show up for again. It's just House of Horrors going there. It's like Coleman Coliseum and basketball at Alabama or something. I'll be honest with you, it was hard for me to get in gear to watch any more football after Thursday night. A lot of the games were just on. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just on.
Yeah, I'm with you, Don, and thanks, man, for the phone call. It took me a while to watch football too, man. That game hurt me.
And then the games were just as boring as all get out. At least the playoff games, New Year's Day games. I mean, from the time Arkansas and Penn State, who, by the way, Sam Pittman, 9 wins, Outback Bowl win, but neither here nor there. None of my business. But from the moment that game kicked off until the final game of the day, what was the final game? Whatever it was. I mean, it was just terrific football all day long on New Year's Day, Swain, after the 2 playoff games were just, in my opinion, insanely boring.
They were boring. I mean, because knew what was going to happen against Alabama, Cincinnati. Alabama was playing around, man. Alabama, they don't play until they play Georgia. Like, they finished their season the same way, kind of fiddle-farting around, playing down the competition, and then they go out and beat Georgia and look like they played the same way against Cincinnati. So you don't see Alabama's best football until they play Georgia. So I'm sure we'll see that in a title game, and I'm not looking forward to watching this stuff. I don't want to see this game at all. I don't want to see these two guys compete for a national championship, but here we are. But the Tennessee game, man, it affected the way I watch football for the rest of the bowl season. Don is right. Now, that Rose Bowl was unbelievable. I did watch a little bit of Kentucky and Iowa. Kentucky making the plays down the stretch to win that game, and 10-win season for Mark Stoops. I mean, that's like winning a Super Bowl there at Kentucky, and so they had a really good season. You mentioned Arkansas, really, really good season. Sam Pittman, KJ Jefferson was great there in their win against Penn State. So there's a lot of SEC teams that really did a really good job finishing. You just hate what happened at Ole Miss and Matt Corral, because he was the one guy. He was the high-profile player in the country that said, "No, I'm gonna play." You had Kenny Pickett opting out. You had all these top players of other positions opted out. I mean, Ohio State had 2, NFL caliber receivers opt out, and Matt Corral was probably the highest profile player that said, "No, I'm gonna play," and he's hurt now. It's not severe. It's an ankle injury, and he should.
Thankfully.
Yeah, I know, man. I was hoping that he's gonna be okay.
Well, my first thought.
What's that?
The Steelers finally, for the first time in 18 years, need a quarterback. Sounds like they're going to try to draft one, and one of the potential ones gets hurt in the bowl game.
That's good for the Steelers.
In what sense?
Because he's hurt. So if he may fall a little bit because of his pre-draft evaluation, may not be able to do everything. So if he drops, he's going to drop right in the laps of the Steelers, because the Steelers won't be picking high because they're competing for a playoff spot.
Well, what's crazy is there's so many middle-of-the-road teams this year in the NFL, and a lot of records that are very similar. If the Steelers were to lose their last 2 games, the Browns tonight and the Ravens on Sunday, and then several other things go their way, my point is that the Steelers could draft as low as 10, but also if they were able to make the playoffs, they could draft 19 or even higher, which is pretty remarkable that with the final weekend of NFL football here, that a team could be drafting anywhere from 10 to technically the last pick in the first round if the miracle of all miracles happens and they were to win the Super Bowl.
You mean as high as 10?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. As high as 10 and as low as what?
The Super Bowl, like the last pick, because technically they're not going to, but they could get into the playoffs, and if they were to win it all, then obviously they would have the last pick in the first round. So they could pick anywhere from 10 to, was that 32?
Yeah.
Which is pretty remarkable.
Tankathon right now.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I mean, the Steelers, they have to win out, and then they have to have the freaking Texans beat the Colts in order to make the playoffs. They have to win tonight, win Sunday, which they're very capable of beating the Browns tonight. In my opinion, they should beat the Browns. I'll be very disappointed if they don't. And then the Ravens are beatable as well on Sunday. So they could win out, but even if they win out, they still have to have the freaking Texans beat the Colts. Because Big Ben had to get COVID the week of the Lions game, and that game ended in a tie because Mason Rudolph had to play in a tsunami. Like that's the type of luck I'm tired of having with my sports teams. That's a different rant that nobody cares about. So I honestly, Swain, like if they lose out and don't make the playoffs, it's whatever. They're probably not going to make the playoffs anyways because the Texans aren't beating the Colts this weekend. So I mean, at this point, why not have the higher draft pick?
Matt Corral, man. Matt Corral. Focus on Matt Corral, and just glad that
they'll take Kenny Pickett because they've had a front row seat to him all year.
Hopefully Matt Corral is able to do everything at the combine, and I doubt it though, because if he had to be on crutches for ankle sprain, that's going to be a 4 to 6 week deal, and the combine is right at the beginning of February. So he pushing it. He pushing it.
Yeah,
luckily
I think
for him, he has a lot of good
I don't think
film.
people. I kind of think people are underselling the sprained ankle. Like, oh, it's just a sprained ankle. Well, if we were in the middle of the season, I mean, he could miss up to a month and a half.
Oh yeah. If he needs crutches for ankle sprain, that means it's probably like a high ankle sprain, and high ankle sprains are worse than a break. So, yeah, he really hurt that thing, and I'm just glad that it's not, torn up knee or something like that, because as much as we prefer all players to play in the bowl game because it's better for our view and pleasure, but if you don't understand why players opt out after watching the Sugar Bowl, then we'll know what to tell you. Like, no one can tell you anything. Like, you don't have to like it, but you dang sure better understand it, especially seeing Matt Corral go down, and he was a guy that decided to play and not opt out because he wanted to play with his teammates. He didn't want to leave his brothers behind, and he didn't want to sit out a game. And it almost cost him. So don't have to like it, but you better understand it after, the Sugar Bowl. But Baylor beat up on Ole Miss, and you can't expect Ole Miss to be anywhere close to the same team without Matt Corral. But I was hoping Tennessee was going to be one of the few teams that won in the SEC bowl season, but that was not the case. But
yeah, and going back to Don's point real quick, Swain, like Tennessee and Purdue, I mean, to this point, one of the best bowl games that have been played. I mean, there were a ton on New Year's Day. Iowa, Kentucky came down to the wire. Oklahoma State, Notre Dame was really, really good, especially Mike Gundy coming back in that football game. The Rose Bowl was phenomenal. I know you enjoyed that game from a receiver standpoint.
Right.
But it just stinks that like Tennessee and Purdue, one of the best bowl games the entire bowl season. If we weren't affiliated with Tennessee, we'd be ranting and raving about how awesome of a college football game that game was. But because we are affiliated with Tennessee and wanted Tennessee to win, it doesn't feel like we appreciate that game from just a simple college football perspective the way that we should.
No, you're right, man. It was really good game. Just the ending stunk for Tennessee. 865-255-03. Hour 1 is brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. We'll take a quick time out. Ben escaped another segment without giving us what we want, Ben. You ain't slick. Give us what we want, Ben. 865-255-03. Be right back.
I'm Vince Moore, wide receiver, VFL 1991, and you're listening to the Swain Event.
If you're coming to Knoxville and need a place to stay, do yourself a favor and book a room at Hampton Inn Paper Mill, also known as the Hampton on the Hill. This award-winning property is literally in the top 5% of all Hampton Inn properties. The GM, Stephen Lawrence, is a good old local boy who grew up in the business around Knoxville. He and his staff are always available, always willing to help, and will go above and beyond for their guests. The newest Hampton Inn in Knoxville has clean, affordable rooms, flat screens, fridges, and microwaves in every room. Plus, breakfast is included in every rate. Not to mention, there's also a pool and fitness center on site. If it wasn't so close to amazing restaurants, bars, and shopping, you would never want to leave. At only 6 miles from campus, you're still right in where the big orange action is. Go to HamptonInn.com, search Knoxville, and book your room at the Hampton Inn Paper Mill, or call 865-693-5400. We're here with Dr. Michael Carlson of Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine to discuss PRP, platelet-rich plasma. If you have orthopedic injuries such as shoulder pain, knee pain, Achilles tendonitis, or tennis elbow, you should give them a call.
Good to be back, Jason. We specialize in non-surgical orthopedics, so we treat damaged tendons, ligaments, and joints, including rotator cuff injuries, knee injuries, and elbow and foot problems by using ultrasound-guided injections with PRP. And this form of treatment helps stimulate the body's own reparative process and assist in the healing of damaged tissue.
Doc, what makes your training different than others?
I've been practicing in Knoxville for over 26 years, and I'm certified in interventional regenerative orthopedic medicine through the American Academy of Orthopedic Medicine. They've been the leader in this form of treatment since 1983. I also teach this form of treatment on a national and international basis to other physicians, residents, and medical students. Here in our clinic, I'm the one doing the procedure, and we're using your own PRP, which are concentrated platelets, to treat your injury. So in other words, Jason, it comes from you and it goes back to you. So you know exactly what you're getting and know exactly the level of training involved.
Do what the pros, college athletes, and I have done, and visit them online at trsportsmedicine.com. Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, East Tennessee's leader in PRP therapy. Fellas, when it's time to freshen up that wardrobe, there's only one play to make, and that's to go see my friends at Mark Nelson Denim in downtown Knoxville. Find the latest in small batch denim in the heart of Knoxville. Denim isn't all they do, though. Mark Nelson also does custom suiting and blazers. Let your personal style shine with Mark Nelson. If you don't have time to go shopping for yourself, but still want that fresh look, then sign up for the NN Society. Let the experts handle the shopping and get $300 worth of merchandise for just $150 every other month. That's 6 times per year to keep you looking styling every day. Let Mark Nelson Denim help you be the best you, because when you look good, you feel good. Go to marknelsondenim.com.
At Iris Networks, we know that business communication solutions are critical to your success. Since 1998, we've been helping businesses in East Tennessee by providing reliable and affordable high-speed fiber internet and voice solutions. That's why Iris Networks is your Tennessee communications partner. With internet speeds up to 100 gigs and work-from-anywhere solutions like mobile apps, video conferencing, and file sharing, we make sure you can stay connected to your customers and great communities we live and work in. Iris Networks, because just like you, Tennessee is our home.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Hour 1 is brought to you by Healer Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. It is time for Around the SEC. Ben, you gonna give us what we want, man. You gonna give us what we want. You know what we want. We want help. We want some help, Ben. You're supposed to give us the information we need to make us feel better. Give us what we want, Ben. All right, it's time for Around the SEC. And what you got, Ben? If you want to, you can sprinkle in some nuggets, man. Maybe some updates on Jared Verse. Maybe some updates on some potential guys at Tennessee looking at the transfer portal. You know, if you want to, it's be a good time to do it as ever.
Well, you are the one controlling the segments over there this morning, so don't put all the blame on me, and since we've got a couple of minutes before the top of the hour, maybe it'd be best to save those Tennessee Nuggets for the beginning of hour 2. I'll knock out some around the SEC real quick before we do hit that top of the hour, because there are other teams in the league, Swain, who has added help or has lost a player to the transfer portal or to the NFL draft. We'll start at Missouri, where last night Oklahoma State defensive lineman Jaden Jernigan decided he is going to transfer to Missouri for some reason. Mississippi State wide receiver Makai Polk, he is headed to the NFL. Polk had 105 catches for 1,046 yards and 9 touchdowns this season for Mississippi State. 105 catches is ridiculous. I don't care if you're in an air raid offense or not. In one season of college football,
it's a lot.
That is pretty remarkable. Auburn received good news. Owen Pappoe, a name that Tennessee fans are familiar with, he announced yesterday that he is going to return for another season on the Plains. LSU starting running back Ty Davis-Price will not play in the Texas Bowl against Kansas State tomorrow night. He is entering the NFL draft. South Carolina running back Kevin Harris is off to the NFL. Montario Hardesty's best running back, who was banged up this year, had a great performance in the Duke's Mayo Bowl against North Carolina. 31 carries, 182 yards, and a touchdown. He's headed to the NFL. Kobe Wooden, Auburn's probably best defender, edge rusher. He is returning to Auburn. So between he and Owen Pappoe, great news for Derek Mason and Ryan Harsin. We got some coaching news to share. Virginia defensive coordinator Nick Howell is expected to join Vanderbilt staff as the DB's coach.
Vanderbilt,
who had the worst tweet ever the day of the Music City Bowl. We'll save that for what?
Oh, okay.
Oh, you didn't see that tweet?
Their official account or one of their fans?
No, their official Vanderbilt Athletics account.
Oh, man. Dude.
You missed this?
I missed everything on game day. I got text I still haven't responded to. I got
Why don't you do that?
Phone calls. Like, it was so crazy the day of the game. So
check your text message right now. I just sent you the tweet. But for those who also have not seen the tweet, if you've been living
I saw
under
this.
a
I thought
rock-
this was from a fan.
No, Vanderbilt Athletics. For those who have not seen the tweet, Vanderbilt Athletics at 8:37 p.m. the day of the Music City Bowl, a.k.a. right after Tennessee had lost in the Music City Bowl, tweeted out teams who won in Nashville this year. Purdue, check mark. Vanderbilt, check mark. Tennessee, X, our big fat red X.
See, I thought it was a fan site. I didn't. I thought, man, I didn't see that it was a official account. You know who triggered them? Is Matthew Butler.
Tennessee.
Matthew Butler triggered them.
they saw that quote last week and said, okay, we've got to come up with something.
Yeah, Matthew Butler triggered them, man. That's what happened. He triggered them. This is
still they look ridiculous. You lost to ETSU in Nashville this season. You just got drubbed by Tennessee less than a month ago, and this is what you're tweeting?
No, bad look. See, okay. The replies are great. The replies are what I'm here for.
Oh, yes. Tennessee fans were mad, and I don't blame them.
That's what I'm here for, man. I'm here for these replies. Oh, my gosh. Bodied Vanderbilt Athletics. Like, if anybody that can talk trash about Tennessee football, it is not Vanderbilt. Must be Reddick. Reddick must have taken over that account again. It must be Reddick.
Well, that's the sad part, is that they didn't. It was somebody legitimately affiliated with them.
Oh, man. All right, Ben, you are going to give us recruiting nuggets when we get back, man. You ain't getting out of this one. We'll take our top of the hour break. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Stay with us. Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. Firms from Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham have stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local law firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. They are our neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at GarzaLaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
At work? Can't call in? Don't feel bad. You can talk to the guys on the text box. It's part of the free Swain Event app.
Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End Barbecue is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering from Chow Now for pickup. Or if you don't feel like leaving the house, then have Dead End Barbecue delivered right to your door by Loco Knoxville or Bite Squad. Cheer on your favorite team with the best barbecue around. Check them out online at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
Litter is a big problem in Tennessee, but together we can do big things. We can make our cities, our waterways, our roads cleaner and safer. The Tennessee Department of Transportation is committed to reducing litter in our communities, but we need your help to do it. There are over 100 million pieces of litter in our roads at any given time, and it costs TDOT about $19 million a year just to clean it up. The first step to keeping Tennessee beautiful is to rally behind these 3 simple words. Nobody trashes Tennessee. Join the Nobody Trashes Tennessee movement at nobodytrashestennessee.com.
In this day and age, the way we work is changing and evolving. Businesses still moving forward despite your work location changing and supply shortages affecting a number of different areas. Office furniture is not immune to the halt in the supply chain. This is why Office Furniture Outfitters has purchased desks, chairs, and tables in bulk to provide you with in-stock options for your place of business, no matter if it's in an office building or at your house. Office Furniture Outfitters is the local supplier for Herman Miller, and they keep Aeron chairs in stock. They will come to your office, lay out, and make recommendations. No project is too big or too small. You can visit them on location at 17th Street and Grand Avenue in the Fort Sanders area, or online at ofonox.com, or give them a call at 865-524-3003. Office Furniture Outfitters, providing East Tennessee's biggest selection and best value for office furniture since 1995.
JC's Tree and Landscaping Service specializes in quality tree work done at an affordable price. Trimming and removing trees are their specialty. They also offer other services like land clearing, stump grinding, crane services, and all of your basic landscaping needs for both commercial and residential. JC's will give you a free estimate and beat any written quote by a competitor to guarantee that you get the lowest price around. Don't risk your land with a fly-by-night service. JC's Tree and Landscaping is licensed and insured. Give them a call at 865-599-3799.
I just wanted to come by and congratulate you on the great work you've been doing.
I like your style. You remind me of a young me.
Failure is not an option.
That boy is good.
Hove, remind yourself, nobody built like you. You design yourself.
Attaboy. Attaboy is brought to you by Made in Tennessee Business Fiber Internet from Iris Networks. Find business solutions for you at irisnetworksusa.com.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com. It is time for Attaboy, where we highlight positivity, and this is our first Attaboy of the year, and I think it's only right that we give today's Attaboy to a VFL. Iris Networks specializing in high-quality fiber internet and voice. Their website, irisnetworksusa.com. Tennessee Business, connecting Tennessee businesses through amazingly fast and quick fiber internet. Again, Iris Networks USA. Follow them on Twitter. And I'm going to the NBA. I will try to explain it. but I wouldn't do it justice. The commentators during the Thunder Knicks game over the Christmas break talked about VFL Scottie Hopson. And I just want to play it. I just want to play it because it is remarkable. The journey that Scottie Hopson has been on, and never saying no to his dreams, and where he is now. So here's what the commentators might bring. One of my favorite dudes in the business had to say about Scottie Hopson.
Over on Oklahoma City, there's probably one of the most incredible stories I can remember in all my years in the NBA. On their bench, they recently signed Scottie Hopson of Hopkinsville, Kentucky. He's a 32-year-old still chasing his NBA dream. It's one of the most remarkable stories of never giving up on your NBA desires. He was a good college player at Tennessee, played 3 years, averaged 17 points per game as a junior, and entered the NBA draft. He didn't get drafted, so he decided to play in Greece for the year. Next year he plays in Israel. The next year he plays in Turkey. Then in 2014, 3 years out of college, he gets an NBA chance. Cavs sign him, send him to the G League, but they call him up. He plays 2 games, 7 total minutes, and that's it. He was hoping they'd re-sign him the next year. Instead, that summer, he's traded 4 times in 3 months. The final team to acquire him waive him back to the G League. Has a 52-point game in the G League. Still can't get called up. No NBA offer, so he goes back to overseas. Spain, China, Croatia, Turkey. As Gilgeous-Alexander misses, rebound by Quickly. And it doesn't end there. February 28th, 18, he gets a 10-day contract with the Dallas Mavericks. His second chance of the NBA. This is 7 years he's out of college and getting his second chance. He plays 1 game, 8 minutes, hits a free throw, and that's it. 10-day contract ends, he's gone. Back to the G League. Goes off to Israel a second time, then New Zealand, then Australia. This is the young man right there. He recovers and plays well over in Australia, and this past October, he comes back and plays for the OKC G League team. So here's a young man out of college, 10 years, as a foul on Favors, okay? Plays 8 different countries, 2 of them twice, 3 years in the G League, 95 games in the G League, and his NBA career consists of 3 games, 15 minutes, and 2 made free throws. Well, he played Wednesday night in Phoenix. First time in an NBA game in almost 3.5 years, and only his 4th NBA game in his life. 10 years after leaving college, he hit a couple of buckets, scored 14 points in 18 minutes. If that is not the most wonderful definition of perseverance and a guy who loves the game of basketball, this guy Scottie Hopson is one of my heroes. Just how he just refuses to let his dream die.
Holy smokes, that is some journey.
Wow. Wow. 10 years, 8 different countries, 3 years in the G League, 3 games total, 15 minutes and 2 made free throws until he dropped double-digit points over the Christmas break. Man, good job, Scottie Hopson, man. Ben, you have an attaboy as well.
Yes. First, I want to say Scottie Hopson is one of my favorite Vols. Young Ben, growing up, Scottie Hopson, I just loved Scottie Hopson. I don't really know why. I think part of it was the name. Just, he has such a cool name, Scottie Hopson. I mean, what a basketball name. And I'll never forget his game winner against Florida. That's the Scottie Hopson moment that I remember most. And I don't know. I loved watching Scottie Hopson play. He was one of my favorite players as a kid. I guess he was playing the tail end of Bruce, which was about the time I was in middle school and going into high school. So super thrilled for Scottie Hopson because he was one of my favorite baller Vols growing up. But I want to give it attaboy to the Tennessee Titans, AFC South champs. And not only AFC South champs, Swain, but currently the #1 seed in the AFC. Yep. And if the playoffs began today, the AFC would run through Nashville. And just what an accomplishment. First time that they've won back-to-back divisions since I think it's 1960, 61 or 64, 65. It's been a long time. And really I kind of count it as the first time in the organization's history because that was when they were in Houston. So this is the first time the Tennessee Titans have won back-to-back division titles, which is really neat and pretty remarkable that they've done it without Derrick Henry. And not only without Derrick Henry, but they've had so many players hurt this year. I mean, they've had to play fourth and fifth string guys and call up practice squad guys, and we all know the story, but just truly remarkable that they are now, I believe they're 11-5 after yesterday. And I don't know what needs to happen on Saturday for them to secure the number one seed. Somebody on the text box can let us know. I hated seeing the Bengals win yesterday because I hate the Bengals, but I did enjoy that the Titans benefited from the Bengals beating the Chiefs, and now Nashville, the Titans are the number one seed in the AFC as it currently sits. So, and I was incorrect earlier. This is how much I've just given up on the Steelers season. I said that I needed the Texans to beat the Colts. It's not the Texans. I need the Jaguars to beat the Colts, which may even be worse. I don't know who I would rather have beat the Colts, the Jaguars or the Texans. But either or, my chances of the Steelers making the playoffs are not great. But wanted to give a shout out to the Tennessee Titans. Hopefully they can make a run. I want them to win when they're not playing the Steelers, and if the Steelers can't make the playoffs, then I hope the Titans take it and run away with it and go win a ring.
Yeah, man, there's 4 teams in the AFC that still can clinch number one spot. That's the Titans, Chiefs, Bengals, and Patriots. The Titans 11-5, Chiefs 11-5, Bengals 10-6, and the Patriots 10-6. So I think the Titans and the Chiefs may have the driver's seat, but the Titans beat.
Well, it looks like the Titans just need to win.
Yeah,
on Sunday, beat the Texans, and they're the number one seed.
Well, you should do that, but they didn't do it the first time.
That's true. Who would you rather have? Who would you rather need to have beat the Colts, the Jaguars or the Texans?
I mean, I would feel better if the Texans was playing. Dude, the Jaguars got beat 50-10.
You're right.
This past weekend, it's over.
Right. Who was that put 50 on them?
Patriots.
That's right. Well,
it's over. It is over.
I need Carson Wentz to go back to being Philadelphia Carson Wentz.
I mean, he just got over. COVID. I mean, he was out for a little bit, but because of the revised COVID protocols, he only had to miss 5 games. But he was not great in their game against the Raiders, and the Raiders won in the field goal at the end of the game. But he wasn't great.
That. Yeah, don't want to talk about that. Maybe a miracle will happen. Real quick before we move on to Tennessee, Swain, how cool was it for you as a former receiver to watch Jamar Chase do what Jamar Chase did? And I'll even go back to the Rose Bowl. I forget the young man's name for Ohio State, but how cool was it for you as a receiver to watch that receiver performance in the Rose Bowl from the Ohio State receiver and then Jamar Chase? As much as I hate the Bengals, Jamar Chase is fun to watch. So is Joe Burrow. How cool were those receiver performances?
Yeah, Jackson Smith-Njigba there for Ohio State set a bowl game record. Not just a Rose Bowl record, but a bowl game record. He went crazy. 15 catches, 347 yards, 3 touchdowns. There's some receivers out here in the country that don't have those stats for the entire season. For the entire season, Ben. I can look at our
I was hoping you weren't going to go there.
Football team. Listen, I'm not trying to put it down to anybody on our team. I'm just trying to kind of crystallize how amazing that his performance was. I mean, we got guys, for the year that don't have that many yards. Let's see here. I mean, to give you some perspective, Jacob Warren had 18 catches for 179 yards. Princeton Fat, 16 catches, 220. Jalen Hyatt, 21 catches, 226 yards. Javonte Payton, 18 catches for 413 yards. And this dude from Ohio State had 15 catches, 347 yards in one game.
And he's coming back next year.
Golly.
With C.J. Stroud. He and C.J. Stroud are coming back next year.
Yeah, that's the best. That'll be the best duo in the country. That'll be the best duo in the country.
Yes.
I mean, I'm trying to think of.
I mean, how dare you disrespect the Hendon Hooker to Cedric Tillman connection?
Man, stop playing. Stop playing.
You're playing, not me. You're the one playing games, not me.
Stop. People gonna think you serious, man. You taking Hendon Hooker and Tillman over this duo?
Yes.
Boy, stop. You need to stop. Stop.
I mean, the only reason Hooker and Tillman couldn't do that in the Rose Bowl is because college football and the SEC are out to get Tennessee. They just purposefully put these awful refs into the Tennessee games and tell them to make up calls as they go to prevent them from being the best version of themselves. So if it was not rigged, then Tennessee would be doing the same thing as Ohio State. Clearly,
you doing this in 2022?
Yes.
You gonna bring this to the new year, Ben? You doing this again?
Yep. New Year, save me, baby.
Oh man. Yeah, that dude.
But yes,
stupid performance.
That is the best duo in college football. And then the Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, best duo behind Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams.
Yeah. Yep. So far, man. So far.
I mean, Jamar Chase deserves serious conversation for Offensive Player of the Year.
I would give him the edge right now over Matt Jones. I mean, in that game, to break records and do it in a way that helped his team clinch a division against the Chiefs, I would give him the slight edge over Matt Jones. But we understand how
Aaron Jones.
What did I say? Matt Jones. Mac Jones. I said Matt. It's Mac.
I got you.
But I would give him the edge over Mac. But we don't understand how the NFL works, man. It's all about quarterbacks. They'll get the benefit of the doubt. But man, I think Jamar Chase should be Offensive Rookie of the Year. That's the way I would go, just off that performance alone. But yeah, that was fun, man. It was fun to see those wide receivers do that, especially Ohio State. 347 yards. And they were down. They were down multiple scores. I picked Utah to win. I just thought they were running the football and have a lot of success and physically beat up Ohio State the way Michigan beat up Ohio State. But, man, to be down multiple scores and then Ohio State to come back. C.J. Stroud, man, when he comes out, he's going to be special. He's already special, but, man, when he comes out, the NFL team will be very, very happy with him. He is really, really good, really accurate, and drops some complete dimes to Smith Enigma, man. Enigma. I think I said that right. Enigma. What is this, Batman? The Riddler? What am I talking about over here? 865-255-03. All right, Ben. You ain't slick. Where is Jared Verse? I don't see him. When is he coming, Ben? When is he coming? I'm looking at the transfer portal. He's still in the portal. Why is he still in the portal? I'm looking at these DBs, and man, there's not a lot of DBs in this portal, man. I hope some guys jumping into the portal after the bowl season because I don't see any DBs in this portal, man. I see like one dude that's available from like Northwestern. I don't see anybody else available at DB. Well, give us some nuggets, Ben. Where is Jared Verse?
So did you see the Antonio Brown stuff yesterday?
I don't care about Antonio Brown right now.
I mean, I think Tennessee's in a good spot with Jared Verse. I really do. I think it's Tennessee, LSU, Florida State. Those seem Tennessee is definitely in the mix, without a doubt. I think he's going to think long and hard about Tennessee, but in terms of just looking at the other competition, I think you would throw in Florida State and LSU in there, and I don't think he's come to a decision yet. But school's going to be starting here in the next week or so, and I'm sure a decision will be around the corner. So,
last week, there was a feeling that Tennessee and Florida State was kind of the two teams out in front, that he wouldn't take any more visits. And Tennessee was kind of in the lead. You think that has changed, or you think that's the same feeling?
Yeah, I think that's the same. I think that's the same. Unless something changes, then I mean, I don't expect him to take that fifth visit, and I think Tennessee's in a good spot. I just don't think he's made a decision. So
I feel good.
It's Tennessee, Florida State, LSU, and I think Tennessee's in a really, really good spot. Just no decision has been made. And boy, would it be a huge pickup for Tennessee, because I think he can come in and beat Byron Young. And, talk about those defenders earlier and our lack of confidence in guys. Byron Young is going to have an all-SEC season next year, or this year, this upcoming season, next season, however you want to word it.
In 2022.
I mean, it's technically – I mean, now that the 2021 season is over, is it this season or next season?
It's technically not over.
It is for Tennessee, though.
It is for Tennessee. But 22 season, that's the best way to say it.
Y'all get the gist.
Yeah, they know.
But I think
they know
in 2022, Byron Young is going to have an all-SEC type of season. And I think he is going to absolutely burst onto the scene. I think he is going to play himself into, third, fourth round pick, if not higher. That's as much as I'm willing to say. That's why I kind of hesitated, because I'm not going to sit here and say he's going to play himself into being a first round pick. But I thought he played well against Purdue in the Music City Bowl, Swain. There were others on that defense that we have highlighted that did not play well, but I thought Byron Young played really well and made some big time plays. He got kicked out in coverage in the slot, and it was more of a really, really bad decision by Aiden O'Connell, who didn't see Byron Young. But hey, still a heck of a play by Byron Young to pick off that pass. And I thought he got better in the run game as the season progressed. And if you can add Jared Verse opposite of him, and not only are you going to add production from Jared Verse, but I think number 9 and number 30 could use a wake-up call. I think it would really benefit Roman Harrison and Tyler Barron if there was truly somebody there to push them. Well, not that they're necessarily doing anything wrong, Swain, but just I think they need to kick it into another gear, if that makes sense.
Well, remember on Tennessee Prime, Tyler Barron talked about gaining about 30 pounds and then moving inside. So
yes.
Yeah, he's going to be in different spots, so that you have an opportunity to have number 9, number 6, and whatever number Jared Verse wants to be. You have an opportunity to have all three of those guys in at once, and
Roman. And I thought Roman had some nice plays here or there, but he still needs to take another step this offseason. So adding some competition would be good for him. But also, Swain, if you're able to add Jared Verse, it doesn't put as much pressure on Joshua Josephs or James Pierce having to play as true freshmen.
Yes,
like they can chip in here and there, but they're not going to be relied upon to be the guys, which would be absolutely huge. So Tennessee's in a good spot with Jared Verse. I just don't think that it's a done decision But I mean, classes are starting here in a week and a half, so he's going to have to make a decision here soon. But that's really the only traction in the portal right now, Swain.
Yep.
Tennessee's been very choosy, picky, however you want to word it. And I said this on Friday's show after the bowl game. I understand being picky and you don't want to take a guy just to take a guy. But after watching the defense play in the Music City Bowl, and I'll be honest, Wayne, going back and kind of looking at the statistics for the season, and I realize statistics don't tell the whole story, but outside of the tackles for a loss, the numbers are not pretty whatsoever. And I say that to say that I've kind of lost some lust on what the defense did this year. And I don't know. I guess I don't know that it was. What's that?
So you was lusting over the defense?
Middle of the season, I was. I think we all were middle of the season.
Nasty.
Huh?
So that sounds like you need to repent or something.
Maybe I do, but middle of the season, I mean, I had pants off watching defense at certain points, but a part of it was like I had absolutely no expectations for the defense this year, just because I didn't think that they had anybody, and then all of a sudden you had Matthew Butler really turn into a productive player, Theo Jackson turn into a productive player. I think Jeremy Banks had a nice season in general, not a perfect season. Still things to build on and work on, but I think overall he had a nice season, especially considering his past couple of seasons and this being the first full season that he got a chance to play linebacker without a lot of drama surrounding him. So I think part of us feeling good about the defense was just based off of preseason expectations, but the last month or so and the bowl game really wiped out. Maybe I'm being unfair, but it really wiped out any good feeling. I mean, statistically, they finished 99th in the country defensively out of 130. And again, I know the stats don't tell all, but going back to the transfer portal real quick, Swain, it's just I don't know how you can be real picky on the defensive side of the ball after you watch what happened in the Music City Bowl and kind of look at the season as a whole.
Yeah, the defense was better than what we expected.
Until the end.
Still. As a whole,
I know.
As a whole, you look at the entire season, they were better than what we expected. Because if the defense would have played the entire season as what we expected them to play like, beginning of the season, Tennessee's not even in a bowl game.
That's fair.
So, yes, the defense started to kind of show their true colors. Maybe you could say that late in the season. But the fact still remains that the Tennessee's defense was better than what we thought they would be, and the staff did more with less. Simple as that. TFLs, yeah, man, they did a great job getting over 100, but there's other areas where we were not great. We were not great in the second quarter as a team, and part of that poor play in the second quarter was getting off the field on third down. We were not great versus quarterbacks that ran. So here's a situation where if you can use your brain more than just in one direction, you could see that Tennessee's defense was not good as it needed to be, but it was better than expected. It was better than expected, but it was not
a good defense.
It was not good, and it needs to get a whole lot better. And it's one of the big reasons why Tennessee did not win that bowl game. Defense was not good. But necessarily, they still got 3 picks in the bowl game as well. Well, when the quarterback's throwing 50-plus time, I would hope you would get some picks. Should have got 5.
Well,
you dropped 2.
Swain, tell me if I'm being unfair, but I mean, 2 of the 3 picks. It's not like Tennessee did anything great. I mean, Trayvon Flowers, Aiden O'Connell threw it right to him.
It don't matter, man. He's still in position. You still get credit for that. If you're in position, like Byron Young was still in position. That being in position is the most important thing.
I know. I know, but
you can't take that away from
like Kamal Hadden went out there and made a play, but like
he was in position.
Aiden O'Connell could have thrown it to me, and I would have caught the ball.
He was in position. He threw it right to Jeremy Banks, and Banks didn't catch it.
Yeah, and I'm so mad. That was one moment I got frustrated rewatching the game.
You can't take that away.
Take that off, you win the game.
Yeah, you can't take that away from Byron Young. You can't take that away from Flowers. You know, you may not be a Flowers fan, but being in position is the most important thing, and then you bring your hand. So, you know, Hadden was in great position on the post route. He was on the upfield shoulders, what you teach. That was textbook from Willie Martinez. He played it perfectly, and then he showed great hands. Byron Young showed great hands too. I mean, that's a edge rusher catching the ball away from his body with his hand. That was a tough catch too from Byron Young. So all three interceptions were good. Was very impressive, and I mean, you hope that you get your hands on those amount of balls when Purdue was dropping back 50-plus times. Should have had 5, but, you know, you didn't. Point is, defense was better than expected, but still not good enough and still needs to improve. Still needs to improve. Better than expected, but not good enough. Not good enough. And Tennessee wins that ball game if the defense was average that day. Wasn't even average that day. Defense was bad that day. Simple as that. There were other games where Tennessee's defense was better. There was games where defense played out of their minds. There was times when the Tennessee defense played just like trash. And Purdue was not their great game. It was not a great game. Not a great game at all. Ken is bringing that to 2022, looks like, on the text box. He says the only reason Hooker and Tillman couldn't do what Stroud and Smith-Njigba in the Rose Bowl is because Tennessee's defense can't get off the field ever, and Hooker or Tillman won't get enough possessions. Ken, come on, man. We're not doing this in 22, right? You're not gonna sit here and say that Hooker and Tillman is as good as that duo at Ohio State. Come on, man. Don't do this year. Don't do this, man. Don't do this. Stroud is a better quarterback. He's a better quarterback than Hendon Hooker. He is accurate. You clearly did not watch the Rose Bowl. The dude was in New York as a Heisman Trophy candidate. He's going to be a first-round quarterback when he leaves. He's ridiculous. It might be one of the reasons on the list of 100, but it ain't the only reason, kid. Don't do this in 22, man. Don't do this, man. Brandon B says 22 might be the worst safety in the SEC. I'd rather take lumps with Christian Charles and Tamarion McDonald going forward. Oh, Christian Charles is going to be in there.
And he might have been towards the end of the year had he not dealt with that knee injury since the Missouri game.
Yeah, he's going to be in there, man. We did the locker room, and we had Theo Jackson on, and I asked him about some of the young players who we can get excited about, and he immediately named Christian Charles. And remember, Theo didn't play one game, and Christian Charles made his first and only start and held his own. It was a home game. Who was that against? I forgot who that was against. When
Christian Charles started against Missouri.
Was that against Missouri? And Theo was out. Was it a concussion? Something like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, or a knee, something like that.
No,
Turnage started
it was concussion
against South Carolina. Christian Charles started against Missouri.
Yeah, it was concussion for Theo. Theo got banged up, and he came back the next week. And Christian Charles, I remember, made a play on the ball and could have had a pick. I remember that. But he did a really good job. There's a lot of optimism about Christian Charles, and this is where your criticism, and this is like, I mean, it's not like strong criticism or anything, flame throwing, but Willie Martinez's knock is that he sticks with the older players maybe a little too much. And Christian Charles is a guy that maybe should have played more, but now he'll have opportunity to take over that spot for sure this offseason. I mean, for those guys, practice, it starts. For some guys, it might already started, on their own. But officially, it starts next week with winter conditioning. So it's time to go, man. The 22 season for Tennessee starts next week. Kentucky Vol Paducah says, what about Turnage?
I have high hopes for Turnage. I think he can be good.
Me too.
But can he do it for a 13-game season? And can he do it against teams that have more offensive weapons than the South Carolina team that he played well against had? Not taking anything away from that performance. He was tremendous that day. But there's a difference between going up against what South Carolina has to offer from a weapon standpoint and what Pitt is going to have with its Biletnikoff winning receiver coming back, and Florida is going to have some talent at receiver, and Georgia has all the talent in the world. Alabama has all the talent in the world at those positions. So can he do it for a full season? But I do have hopes for Brendan Turnage taking over for Theo.
Yeah, I like Brendan Turnage when he was in there. When he was in there, he got all SEC honors. I mean, he had a great day, and he has a bright future.
I want to see what they do with Slaughter. I wouldn't mind seeing him slide over to safety. I'm no DB expert, obviously, but I don't know at this point why you wouldn't try him at safety. Maybe you just love him at nickel that much, but if you have Brandon Turnage, who seems like he's next in line to take over for Theo at nickel, then why not try Slaughter at safety? But again, I'm no DB expert.
If you can play nickel, you can play safety.
Yes, I mean it's an extension of the safety position.
Well, nickel. The reason why I say that is because playing nickel is like the hardest DB position on the field, because you got to guard dudes in the slot and they have two-way goes, and you got to cover basically the entire field. You don't have the sideline to act as another defender. So if you can play, in the mess as a nickel and play in the box as a nickel player, and then have to guard receivers and things like that. If you can play that, then you can play safety where you have a better bird's eye view. If you just understand how to line guys up, if you understand your coverages and don't bust, then that should be the only thing that keeps you from playing. But you should be able to play that position. But Ken is definitely bringing this to 22. Because he says two things can be true at the same time, Swain. Tennessee defense can be undermanned and not enough depth and still be one of the worst defenses in the country. And school history that many times did not look well coordinated. Again, I just said there was times when they looked terrible and bad, and there was times when they looked decent. The point is that the Tennessee defense was better the entire year than what we expected. 99 is not good. No one's sitting here bragging about 99th overall defense. But we were expecting them to be worse than that. When you look at the roster during the spring, there was times when Tennessee's defense played better than they should have. And then there was times when they played on schedule, which was terrible. And that was the bowl game. I literally just said that, Ken. I just said it. I just said it. Oh, my gosh. Brandon B. says, also seeing Juwan Mitchell on the sideline at the bowl game and seeing his social media posts seeming like he was returning next season. Do y'all think his return can help us out with him pairing with Banks? I know we really didn't get much to see much of him. I think he only played in one game. I don't have high expectations for the Banks-Juwan Mitchell duo. if it didn't happen this year, what makes us think that it's going to happen this next year? It could happen. Juwan Mitchell has a change in mentality and he works his tail off, and I mean, it can happen. Man, you just mentioned the fact that you forgot about Theo Jackson. I mean, it can happen. Jeremy Banks was
up to Juwan Mitchell.
Jeremy Banks at a point wasn't even on this football team. So, it can happen. But I don't have any expectations for Juwan Mitchell in 2022 on defense, despite his social media account.
Not as of today.
No. He's going to have to show me first. I need to see more.
Yeah, and he's going to have to show the coaches too.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. So I hope so. I had high expectations for him coming over from Texas. But this year, I did not expect him to get benched. I did not expect him to be a guy that may not be with this program. I did not expect him to be a player that the coaches felt like wasn't pulling in the same direction as everyone else. And that was a big surprise to me. And until he proves otherwise, I'm not going to believe that he's going to be a contributor in a positive way for Tennessee. So he can change that, and then we'll change our opinions. 865-255-03 is our telephone number. Let's take a quick time out. 865-255-03 is our telephone number. Ben McKee, Jason Swain. Ken, I hope you call one day. Be clapping a lot on the text box and be totally off base. Just explain the defense. Had some really good moments, some bad moments. Played better than what people expected. 99 is not good. No one's bragging about 99. Dude, this defense had an opportunity. This defense was looking like they were going to be a freaking in the hundreds and 20s. Tennessee went out and got some players, coached them up the best way they could. Still not good enough. Literally just said that. Swain Event continues after this.
Is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you. Hello, is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you.
What are you doing?
Calling around to get the best rate on a car loan.
Why? Everyone knows Alcoa 10 is the best choice to purchase a vehicle or refinance your current loan. And with low interest rates and 90 days to your first payment, it's a no-brainer. You can even apply online and sign all the documents from the convenience of your home.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
Alcoa 10 Credit Union. It's so easy. Go to atfcu.com for details. Rates are dependent on credit score and equal housing lender.
Good morning, Swain Event family. Several of you, like Ben McKee, have reached out to me for real estate assistance this year, and I want to say thank you. I appreciate your trust in me to ask questions and help you navigate the real estate world.
That's right, Jennifer. Buying a home is a scary process, especially for a first-time home buyer. Jennifer recently helped my wife and I buy our first home and made the entire process seamless. Her willingness to go above and beyond is what sets her apart.
As always, feel free to give me a call. Jennifer Morris, Keller Williams Realty, 865-257-7897, or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com.
We're here with Dr. Michael Carlson of Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine to discuss PRP, platelet-rich plasma. If you have orthopedic injuries such as shoulder pain, knee pain, Achilles tendonitis, or tennis elbow, you should give them a call.
Good to be back, Jason. We specialize in non-surgical orthopedics, so we treat damaged tendons, ligaments, and joints, including rotator cuff injuries, knee injuries, and elbow and foot problems by using ultrasound-guided injections with PRP. And this form of treatment helps stimulate the body's own reparative process and assist in the healing of damaged tissue.
Doc, what makes your training different than others?
I've been practicing in Knoxville for over 26 years, and I'm certified in interventional regenerative orthopedic medicine through the American Academy of Orthopedic Medicine. They've been the leader in this form of treatment since 1983. I also teach this form of treatment on a national and international basis to other physicians, residents, and medical students. Here in our clinic, I'm the one doing the procedure, and we're using your own PRP, which are concentrated platelets, to treat your injury. So in other words, Jason, it comes from you and it goes back to you. So you know exactly what you're getting and know exactly the level of training involved.
Do what the pros, college athletes, and I have done, and visit them online at trsportsmedicine.com. Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, East Tennessee's leader in PRP therapy.
Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End Barbecue is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering from Chow Now for pickup. Or if you don't feel like leaving the house, then have Dead End Barbecue delivered right to your door by Loco Knoxville or Bite Squad. Cheer on your favorite team with the best barbecue around. Check them out online at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
Touchdown or Turnover is backed by Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union, a place where you belong.
All right, it's time for Touchdown Turnover, backed by Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union, a place where you belong, better rates and better service. Ben McKee, Jason Swain. New year. January the 3rd. Hope everyone had a great New Year's celebration. What'd you do for New Year's? Man, what was your celebration?
Driving back to Knoxville.
My celebration was sleeping. I usually don't make it until the celebration, but I made it. I made it this year, man. Had some.
But you said you were sleeping.
Well, soon as midnight struck, about 10 minutes later, I went to sleep. So that was my celebration, sleeping. That was my celebration.
I wish I was sleeping because I was just as tired as you have described. I was at a friend's house watching the college football playoff games in Huntsville, and then I got a couple of text messages from my pregnant wife who was working at the hospital that night, and she got really sick because of that first trimester. So I left Huntsville at 9:30 p.m. on New Year's Eve to drive back. That's what I was doing. I celebrated in my car midway or halfway between Chattanooga and Knoxville. I think I was in like Cleveland when the clock struck midnight. So I celebrated by myself.
Happy New Year, Ben. Happy New Year, my friend.
Yeah. What a 2022 it's gonna be.
I'll tell you one thing, man. That Christmas present that your folks sent up here, that Jack, what was this? The Jack Spice.
Apple cider?
No, the cider. It was the Jack cider. It wasn't apple, but it was a cider. Ooh, man, I was all up in that for New Year's.
I haven't had the Jack cider.
Yo, that's right there. Man, that stuff was good, man.
Yeah,
that was good.
Jack.
That's probably why I was sleepy, man.
Oh, yeah, I would imagine you can't go wrong with Jack. I'll have to try that. Jack honey, Jack apple, straight Jack. You can't go wrong with Jack.
Man, yeah, it was awesome. All right, it's time for Touchdown Turnover. Backed by Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union, a place where you belong, better rates and better service. Here's a touchdown turnover that I had written down last night doing show prep. We've already been kind of talking about the defense, but I'm going to ask you this because I have not asked you directly. So here it is. Cornerback is the biggest need on defense to address in the transfer portal. Touchdown or turnover?
Oh, man.
Great
question.
Touchdown or turnover? Corner is the biggest need on defense to address in the transfer portal. What you got, Ben? What you got? What you got?
I'll say turnover.
Oh, why?
As you can tell in my voice, I am not very confident in my answer, and it's not that I'm not confident. I think it speaks to the needs of Tennessee's defense, and I hesitate because I think that I have more faith. Not that it's a lot of faith. Please don't get it twisted. I don't have a ton of faith in what Tennessee currently has at corner, but I have more faith in what Tennessee currently has at corner than I do safety. And I do believe corner is a more important position than safety. I do believe that the defensive line and edge rusher are more important positions, but at safety, I hate to be this blunt about a college football player, but I've just given up hope on Tennessee safeties.
Okay.
Maybe they prove me wrong. I hope that they do, because they're great kids, young men, and they've given their all. It's just I think they are limited. It's not a lack of effort or anything of that nature, that they're just limited. And at least at corner, I think you have something to work with Kamal Hadden. I know Warren Burrell had an awful day, and I'm not saying he's going to have a successful 2022, but I mean, at least you have the tools with Warren Burrell to work with. We'll see if Willie Martinez can do anything with it. I'm lumping nickel in to corner as well, Swain. And you have right now Danico Slaughter, Brandon Turnage there. You signed Desmond Williams, a JUCO guy. So, I mean, at least you have pieces there. And I just don't see those pieces at safety. You have pieces, not enough, not as much as you need, but you have Byron Young as an edge rusher, maybe Jared Verse. Tyler Barron, we'll see if he really does move inside, which he indicated that he is going to. Roman Harrison, another year in the program.
Hey, man.
You got Jeremy Banks coming back at inside backer.
Corner, yes or no?
I mean, I'm just trying to show my work.
You doing work for the next semester. We on spring semester. You doing work for the winter semester.
That's just the type of work we put in here on the Swain Event. So, safety is the biggest need on defense, in my opinion. So I say turnover.
Oh man, it's a tough question, man. I gotta go corner just because of we've had teams literally pick on our corners. We saw South Alabama torch us, attacking our corners in Warren Burrell. And you mentioned Warren Burrell having the tools. He has the physical tools, but mentally he's done. His confidence is shot right now. And that's the number one thing of playing corner. His technique, he was right in position on a few of those throws against Purdue. He's doing exactly what you want him to do technique-wise up until the ball is caught by the receiver. You have to turn your head around and play the ball, but he's in position. It's not like he's getting, shook out of his shoes, but mentally he's not trusting his technique, the same technique that allows him to be in position. He's just not finishing the job. Turn your head around and knock the ball down and pick it off. For some reason, he won't turn his head around and he can't find the wide receiver, and then he loses his footing and fall down. You can tell mentally he's affected because he didn't even get up. He just didn't get up. And the coaches had to come off the sideline and tell him, come on, get out. Last possession, he wasn't even in. Theo Jackson was in at corner. If you had a guy that was mentally able to shake it off and say, all right, man, I made a bad play, I'm going back out there, coaches put you back out there. I like Kamal Hadden, what I saw from him in the bowl game. I do feel like you can move, Danico Slaughter to safety. I do feel like there's a lot of positive momentum for Christian Charles, for Tamarion McDonald. I don't feel like we have that same momentum at corner with some of our young players, even though you had Brandon Turner come in earlier in the season and win awards in his performance in one game. I feel a lot better about the options we have at safety and moving guys over and some of the young pieces than I do at corner, because you can't hide a corner. You can play some cover too. You can hide a safety. But you cannot hide a corner, man. And I thought the bowl game really showed us that. And listen, we're drawing straws here. We're splitting hairs between corner, safety, linebacker. They are all a position of need. But I'm gonna go corner, man. I think corner is the biggest need on defense. Let's go to the phones. During the break, I had Turkey Man holding. Let's see if he is back with us. Turkey Man, is that you, Turkey Man?
That be me. That be me. You hung me up just as soon as we whatever you did, my phone went dead.
Good morning, Turkey Man.
Hey, buddy. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. You too, Mr. Ben. A new father to be coming.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you and your family.
You too, buddy. Hey, we've talked, or you guys I've listened to you talk mostly, and we've all know that we've come that officials have cost us games and other teams' games, and it's been changing their approach of officiating, just like the basketball game the other night.
Mm-hmm.
They go one way, and all of a sudden, then okay, we're gonna call it everything on you. And we may have fouled, or we may have done this, or may have done that, but it was not the way that it was done earlier for everybody, and it cost teams momentum, and it cost games.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that the poor officiating has cost us at least 3 games this year, just appropriate at that moment. And so we've talked about players dropping balls and not making plays, being in position, not making plays. Now something's done my crawl, and I'm not wanting to get down on our coach at all, because I love our coach. But something I'm having a hard time understanding. And there was two things happened. One in regular time, and those are things that coaches have an opportunity to have input in the game. We throw 2 long passes to the corner down the right side, back to back, running out of time, and then we inserted to do a field goal at his. He was out of range of what he normally can kick one, because they got that line let you know where he's more accurate at, I guess. And we didn't try to get in position to win that game on the field goal. I didn't understand that coaching strategy at all. Then you go into overtime, and you would definitely want to be defense first. That's what normally, it's that sets out a pattern how you do this. And you want to at least get a field goal. So we go for it on 4th and 8 or something, and we was fortunate we got the first down. I'm not talking about at the goal line. We scored, and we're not talking about that. I'm talking about that moment there.
The last drive. In the regulation. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, Turkey Man. And listen, I'm with you, man. And thanks for the phone call. We are up against it at the top of the hour. Like I think we have the right coach to lead us where we are right now. The culture has done a 180, taking an offense that was in the 90s or in the 100s or somewhere close to that in the bottom third, and to put them in the top third tells you all you need to know about what he can do offensively. There are some questions about certain moments of the game, and can the offense get you over the hump? But I think a whole lot of other things need to take place before we can sit here and say, okay, our offense lost us the game. We're not there yet. When you coach in 100 games, you're not going to go 100 from 0 as far as out-coaching the opponent. You're going to get out-coached. If you coach enough, you're going to get out-coached. The best coaches in college football history have been out-coached. I don't expect Josh Heupel to go undefeated and out-coach every single coach he goes up against. Music City Bowl, Josh Heupel got out-coached. He's still my coach. Still glad he's a coach. Look forward to what he's going to do in 2022. But in the Music City Bowl, Josh Heupel got out-coached. The end of regulation drive where we took 2 deep shots. Do we know that Josh Heupel told Hendon Hooker to take 2 deep shots? Or do we say, okay, you have this route and you have multiple guys open, different layers, different depths, and Hendon Hooker decided to throw it deep, which is fine because they were open. Just didn't hit it. We wasn't in a rush. We wasn't in a hurry with multiple timeouts. We wasn't in a hurry. It was the management of the clock. I look at Heupel and I look at Hendon. It was like the first game of the season or the second game of the season of how we managed the clock. The way we did against Kentucky was perfect. How did we play that game against Kentucky in November and then come back at the end of December and look like we've never ran 2-minute drill? Our kicker's not kicking a 56-yarder. He's not Sebastian Janikowski. That's not his range. And it felt like we were okay with allowing him to kick the ball at that distance. We could have picked up 5 yards, 8 yards to make that kick a whole lot closer. It just didn't seem like we had much sense of urgency or much direction. And that falls on Josh Heupel. I think the play of Hendon Hooker, even though it doesn't show up in the stat sheet, was not great. It was not great. It was not one of his better games. I mean, you can go look at the stat sheet and go look at, all the touchdowns and look at the interceptions and go, man, he played great. He didn't play great. I thought Music City Bowl was the worst game for the head coach and the quarterback as a combination. On top of other things that hurt us too. Defense, maybe some special teams, pass protection. You can't just look at the head coach and the quarterback. But
yeah, so that was going to be my next point is
yeah.
Hendon did miss some throws, but I would love to sit down with Josh Heupel and Hendon Hooker and truly just discuss the game and kind of what happened on so many different plays, because like there are plays where Hendon just flat out missed the throw. The second play of the game, Javonte Payton going deep, beats his man, has a step on his man, and Hooker sails it over his head and out of bounds. I mean, that should have been a touchdown on the second play of the game. And Tennessee ended up scoring. Tillman caught his first touchdown, but, I mean, he still missed that throw. But then there were other times, I forget when in the game it was, I think the second quarter. It was the second quarter on the third possession of the second quarter. Hooker missed the deep ball when Valus and Tillman were running go routes in the same spot. Like how does that happen? How do you have 2 receivers running a go route in the same spot?
Yeah, that's receiver. That's receiver.
Right. And you had several instances in which the spacing and the routes, they appeared off. Somebody did not do something correctly, which obviously, I mean, I guess technically it could be on Hendon. Maybe he, gave a signal that he shouldn't have, but I would imagine that he did not do that, especially as often as it was happening. And then right tackle got Tennessee beat. Right tackle was Tennessee's biggest issue on offense in the Music City Bowl.
Yep.
On several instances. Obviously, there was the fumble. There was the play in which Jalen Hyatt ran a post and beat his man wide open down the middle of the field. And the TV broadcast does not show it, but Nissan Stadium showed it on the Jumbotron, where the defender, the defensive lineman for Purdue, grazed the football as Hendon was releasing the football. So it obviously impacted the throw, and it came up well short.
Mhm.
That was all pressure, and they tried Jeremiah Crawford in there at times, and he just got flat out whipped. And you went with Dane Davis for the rest of the way, but the pass protection was not good, and it wasn't just right tackle. There were other guys who struggled as well, and then you had some drops. Princeton Fant had 3. Javonte Payton had a drop. Valus Jones had a drop. You had stupid penalties. You had an illegal formation. You had false starts on the running back, on the tight end, on the receivers. You had holding penalties. Jerome Carvin had a personal foul that killed the first drive of the second quarter. You had offsetting penalties before the fumble, and I did not see anything that warranted Tennessee being called for a unsportsmanlike or personal foul in that moment, but maybe something was said that we don't know about. So I just self-inflicted wound after self-inflicted wound, and Hendon, I agree with what you're saying about Hendon Swain, but the whole offense as a whole was just very uncharacteristic.
For sure. A lot of finger pointing can go around, man. A lot of execution issues. The penalties is something that's going to reflect on the head coach. You know, the clock management before in the regulation, head scratcher. You can't have everyone having bad days. Like, you can still win if one person have a bad day, or maybe one unit has a bad day, but you can't have multiple units and head coaching clock management issues, and quarterback making freshman mistakes. Like, I can live with a couple deep balls being off target because, again, I understand how hard they are to connect on. They are low percentage throws. When you hit them, they're great. They're game changing, but it's hard. You got people running at your feet. You got this pocket is closing out on you, and you got to throw it in a bucket. Like, it's tough. But the overtime passing play, number one, why are you calling it? You just rush for, 7 yards on first down. They haven't stopped the run. Why even call a passing play? That's my first question to Coach Heupel. Then you have a quarterback that has played multiple years of college football take a sack in 3-step. That was a freshman mistake. So those 2 errors right there, man, that cost you in overtime. And then you had a missed block by Princeton Fant. So every play you had a mistake. Like, every play you had a mistake, and then the referees had their mistake, and boom, you got the result, which was the L. But every play except for the first play of overtime was a mistake by either the play caller or the quarterback. So we got somebody on the phone, Ben. I'm gonna get to the phone. I'm gonna let you finish up that point, and then we'll take a break. So let's get to the phones. I've been waiting patiently. Good morning. Who we got?
Hey, this is Doug in Chattanooga.
Hey, Doug. How you doing, man? Good morning.
Good. I'm actually stuck in traffic on Signal Mountain, trying to get to work, and you guys are spot on this morning. I mean, really, you've broken it down fantastically, if that's a word. So I can't disagree with anything you're saying, but I'm just going to go off the rails. Something's got to be done in college football with the officiating.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys picked up on this, because I couldn't verify this stat, but in the Alabama game, they said Alabama was second in the NCAA with 17 pass interferences for the entire year. So Alabama's second in NCAA with pass interference calls was 17. And in one game, we had 6 pass interference penalties called on us, 5 of them by the same official. Now, there's talk about how much money was being put on this game. So just for the sake of college football, I mean, this just may have been all a coincidence. This may have been incompetence, but the appearance alone is damaging to the game. I mean, the game cannot survive if we continue to have this kind of incompetence, because you can say, hey, they can call pass interference on every down. They can call holding on every down. I mean, we all say that.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? They didn't call it on Purdue.
Mm-mm.
They called it on us. And I don't know if you guys, I mean, you just mentioned the offsetting personal fouls. It's bizarre that ESPN didn't show it. But our guy was on the ground, and literally a Purdue guy jumped and speared him on the ground. And I had to rewind it to see it. And they threw the flag, and they called offsetting on that.
Yep.
But
it should not have been offsetting unless a Tennessee player said something.
Yeah, but not a single holding call on Purdue. I mean, come on, guys. We all watched the same game, and you can have incompetent referees, which these guys were. They've been suspended twice. I mean, why did that group from a conference that was not associated with either of the teams playing, why did that group get it? Who knows? They've shown to be incompetent, but if you're really incompetent, it goes both ways, right? I mean, you're consistent. I mean, Hooker was off. He did not have a good game, but several of those overthrows, I mean, if you go back, our receiver was being held close to the line of scrimmage almost every time because, I mean, you guys saw it. Their strategy was we gotta stop the run. They brought their safeties up for run support, so those DBs were on an island the entire game, and that's why we kept going after them. And the assumption is, hey, we're going to get these holding calls or these pass interference calls. They didn't do it. They didn't do it to Purdue. They did it to us. So just for the integrity of the game, they got to make these officials professional, full-time guys. I mean, there's too much money involved. They got to make them full-time guys, and they got to watch these guys like hawks. And if they don't perform, move to the next guy. And that's all I got, guys.
Hey, thank you for the phone call. Really, really appreciate it. Yeah, man. I mean, Tennessee did not play well, and the officiating was terrible too against Tennessee. And you can go look at the disparity between the two teams. I mean, the PI calls that was called against Tennessee, and then you blatantly missed the easy call of holding where a young man is grabbing the jersey of Cedric Tillman. I mean, those are easy calls right there to make. We got to take a break, top of the hour. We ran over about 14 minutes. We'll take a quick timeout, and then we'll come back. We'll go straight to the phones. Don't go anywhere. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
While the other guys are taking guesses, the Swain Event is taking you behind the scenes and in the huddle every morning from 7 till 10 right here.
Fellas, when it's time to freshen up that wardrobe, there's only one play to make, and that's to go see my friends at Mark Nelson Denim in downtown Knoxville. Find the latest in small batch denim in the heart of Knoxville. Denim isn't all they do though. Mark Nelson also does custom suiting and blazers. Let your personal style shine with Mark Nelson. If you don't have time to go shopping for yourself but still want that fresh look, then sign up for the NN Society. Let the experts handle the shopping and get $300 worth of merchandise for just $150 every other month. That's 6 times per year to keep you looking styling every day. Let Mark Nelson Denim help you be the best you, because when you look good, you feel good. Go to marknelsondenim.com. Litter is a big problem in Tennessee, but together we can do big things. We can make our cities, our waterways, our roads cleaner and safer. The Tennessee Department of Transportation is committed to reducing litter in our communities, but we need your help to do it. There are over 100 million pieces of litter in our roads at any given time, and it costs TDOT about $19 million a year just to clean it up. The first step to keeping Tennessee beautiful is to rally behind these 3 simple words. Nobody trashes Tennessee. Join the Nobody Trashes Tennessee movement at nobodytrashestennessee.com.
Voted Best Barbecue in City View Magazine and a top 100 barbecue restaurant in the country, Dead End is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering and local delivery with Valet Gourmet. That's right, you can have Dead End brought to you. Can't think of the spread for your next event? Get Dead End to cater it. Check them out online, deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
When you start your own business, you know that branding can make or break a new venture. That's why Swain Event relies on 42nd Street. 42nd Street is a strategy agency focused on finding creative, open-minded, results-driven solutions to brand design. After over a decade of operations in East Tennessee, the brand architects at 42nd Street have the experience and creative know-how to ensure the success of your business branding, logo, web presence, and more. To see a real-life example of their amazing work, you can check out our website at swainevent.com. Don't trust the branding of your business to just anyone. Check out my friends at 42nd Street online at 42st.com or give them a call at 865-382-7007. 42nd Street, brand, strategy, design.
More and more Tennessee businesses are switching to Iris Networks for reliable, local, high-quality, high-speed business fiber internet. Iris provides direct internet access from 10 megs to 10 gigs with no payments for 90 days. Iris also offers next-generation business phones with work from anywhere capability from the mobile or laptop app. With local sales, support, and service, Iris is a partner in the community. Learn more at irisnetworkusa.com or call 865-448-IRIS. Iris Networks, a Tennessee business connecting Tennessee businesses.
You don't have to take an L just because you can't listen to the Swain Event live. You can catch up on the podcast posted daily on the app, online, and on iTunes.
Swain Event, swainevent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Ben McKee, Jason Swain here on the program. Let's go straight to the phones, the Iris Networks hotline. And let's bring in Josh, who's calling in from Arkansas. Josh, good morning.
Morning, Jason. Morning, Ben. How are you fellas?
Well, my friend.
Morning to you.
Good. Morning. Hey, so I just wanted to touch on a point that we talked about earlier on the show, and that was, the defense being, lingering around that 100 mark. I really am not too fazed by that, and maybe you guys won't be after this take. Hopefully, hear me out. When the offense is on the field and it takes Heupel, 2 minutes, 3 minutes to score, and we have 5 or 6 scoring drives, we really only take up 15, 20 minutes on offense. And we have 3 and outs like we do in the second quarter, just less than that. So, when the defense is on the field 35, 40 minutes a game, I expect those kind of numbers. And I think it's more or less a byproduct of what Heupel's wanting to do on offense. So I truthfully never anticipate or expect our defense to be a top 50 defense in the country under Heupel. And that's not bashing Heupel. I think it's important to put points up on the board, and that's what he's more focused on doing. I think our goal next year should definitely be to have, a counterpunch for other teams, counterpunch us in the second quarter. We have to find a way to have an answer and continue to move the ball in the second quarter. We can't put up goose eggs, and I think, Jason, you said something about 5 games we never converted a third down
in the second quarter. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we have to find answers to that and stay on the field and not be beat in the second quarter. But defensively too, we're going to allow a ton of yards because we're going to give the defense 10, 12 opportunities to score the ball. So I'm not sure what y'all's thoughts are about that, but I really don't expect us to have a top 50 defense ever with how much our defense is going to field.
Josh, I think you make a really good point, Josh, and thanks so much for the phone call. Here's what I'll push back. I won't push back on you right now because we are at the infancy stages of the Josh Heupel era where we're trying to build a foundation. And so it's not going to show up in a big-time way when you're trying to win 7, 8 games. But to take that next step, and, we got players on this football team talking about Atlanta. I just don't feel like Atlanta is going to be a true obtainable goal for us unless we find ways to win other than just saying offense, 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 offense. What about when the offense has a bad day? Are we expecting the offense to never have a bad day? I think good teams find different ways to win. Look at some of the best defenses in the country, and there are teams that are playing around New Year's or on New Year's. Like, I'm okay now with what we're doing because it's a whole lot better than it was last year. And it can win you 7, 8, possibly 9 games. But it's going to come time when you don't need defense to win you a game. And the question will be, can we? Can our defense step up and win us a game when the offense is a little bit off? Because a bowl game, our offense stalemated there in the second quarter. The problem is our defense did too. You got to play complementary football. We've seen it years and years and years of Tennessee. Man, offense was off today. Boy, defense really stood up. Man, defense was off today. Man, offense really stood up. Man, special teams they were the best unit today. I think it's hard for me to rely on the offense each and every game. So, yes, this is what we do. I ain't complaining because it's better than it was last year. And if we take another step forward, I'll be happy. But there's going to be a time when Tennessee is expected to go to Atlanta and will have all the horses to do so. And if we are unable to do it because our defense played 90-something plays, now you're going to look at Josh Heupel and then you're going to say, all right, man, it's time for some tweaks. It's time for some tweaks to the system if we want to get over the hump and do what we ultimately want to do. We want to chase championships, but we want to come close to chasing. We want to actually obtain them. We don't want to just say we're chasing championships just to say it. We actually want to do it. So how do we do it? But we're not there yet. So I'm with you, Josh. I'm not at that level yet. Maybe 2 years down the line, I'll push back, but I'm not today.
Well, you can still have a good defense, great defense with this offense. Like, just because Josh Heupel runs this offense doesn't mean that you can't have a top 25, top 15 defense. You may never have the best defense statistically, because throughout the course of the season, no matter how good the defense is, the offense is still going to put it in bad positions. So there's going to be times where the stats may look a little worse than the actual ability of the defense as a whole. But you can still have a good defense. And I get what Josh is saying, and I do agree with him. But I also would push back and say that you can build a top 15, top 25 defense by adding talent. by building depth. Imagine if this defense could go 3 and 4 deep, then, being on the field as much as they are won't be as big of an issue as it is right now. Right now, you just kind of have your starting 11, and that's really all that you trust. And really, you probably, if the coaches were being honest, don't even trust all starting 11 on the field. But in 3-4 years of recruiting and developing, then theoretically your depth is going to be good enough to where you can have a good defense to go along with this offense, because you can just rotate guys in and out.
I don't know, man. That's going to take a lot of recruiting classes. I mean, Ole Miss's defense, where were they? They're pretty dang good. As well as you can be when you're.
They were good based off of what they did last year.
Well, I mean, as good as my point is, like, you can be as good as good can be. But if you're on the field for 90, 80 snaps, man, you're going to wear down. I don't care how talented you are, how much depth you have, how good you are. I sit there and watch Clemson, Alabama, and that defense put the thunder on Clemson at the beginning of the game. And then by the end of the game, they couldn't stop Clemson from doing whatever they wanted because they were tired. At some point, if you're putting too many plays on these dudes' bodies, they're going to wear down late in the season. So can the defense be better? Absolutely. But I don't know about top 15, top 25 defense. I just don't see it.
I think you can.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't think you'll ever see the best in the SEC from a statistical standpoint, but I think you can have one of the best defenses in the SEC. Which, if you have one of the best defenses in the SEC, that's top 15, top 25.
Yeah, we'll see, man. The top SEC teams this year: Georgia, Alabama. Georgia was number 2. Alabama was number 3 as far as yards per game. That don't really matter. It's all about the points. So let's go to scoring, because that's the only thing that matters. Is scoring, not yards. You can bend and not break, but it's about the points you give up. Georgia was number 1. Alabama was 13th, and then after that, Kentucky was 26. So those are your top 26 teams in the country from the SEC. Those 3.
Auburn 27th.
Yeah, Auburn 27th. But Arkansas was at 39.
A&M finished 3rd.
I'll be surprised. Yeah, I totally looked over A&M, but I'll be surprised if Tennessee is in that top 25 anytime soon.
Ever?
Anytime soon.
Under Josh Heupel, whether it's year 2, year 3, or year 10, year 15, year 20, just in your opinion, with Josh Heupel as head coach, what do you think is the max potential of what a Tennessee defense can finish? Even after years of recruiting and theoretically building up depth and talent, what do you think is the max potential of where Tennessee defense could finish statistically?
Top 3rd. I mean, I can't say and give you a number, but I say top 3rd in the country. Top 3rd in the country. This offense does not put the defense in position unless they're turning the other team over. There's too many plays on their bodies, man. It's really difficult. It's really, really difficult, which is why we see Tennessee do their own version of somebody going down with the injury to give team more time on extra point. There's always somebody going down on extra point, so defense can get a little extra breather. It's tough. So top 3rd. I don't think Tennessee will be in top 25 in scoring defense. I just don't think the offense and the system is built around our defense to have that type of production. All right, we gotta go to the phones. Good morning. Who we have?
Justin down here in cold Florida.
Cold Florida, yeah. Get a little taste of that cold weather down there in Florida. How you like that?
Yeah. What are you guys sending down from up there?
Man, don't worry. You blinking, it'll be 75 degrees again.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. Hey, interesting conversation this morning because I think it brings up a lot of points. I'm going to take it back to, we're going to be dealing with personnel problems for a little while because it's even if you take in 32 guys, you can't fix this overnight. Swain, I think you referenced this. If you were to hold a gun to the staff's head and ask them to answer honestly, I don't know if they can honestly tell you, hey, we trust every guy out there that's starting. And, that's just a fact right now. Take Georgia's defense, put it with Heupel's offense. Are you going to tell me that that defense wouldn't be a top 25? No, they would. Because, second half of the game, if they're up big, they know what the other team's got to do to get back in the game. And they can make changes accordingly. Now, I'm not going to say we've got to recruit at that level. Hopefully we get to that level. But my point is, this offense putting up points, it can expose the defense. But I just think all around, this is going to take 3, possibly even 4 years, just depending on how things go, to get the personnel to where it needs to be. Ben, you referenced right tackle. That was apparent. It didn't matter which guy was in, right? You substituted 2 different guys and you were getting the same result. So you can't say, well, that one guy had a bad night. It's across the board. Should those guys be starting in the SEC? I don't know. We've got the one thing I will say about defense, and cornerback is definitely a concern. I would argue that it starts up front because watching Bama, watching Georgia, watching these teams, heck, even Kentucky did a good job defensively in their bowl game. I thought they were getting pressure with their front 4 guys. We haven't done that in years. That was probably one of Pruitt's biggest misses as a position group. We missed on defensive line. We got Amari Thomas, who to me is an SEC level defensive lineman. After that, can we honestly look back and say those 3 years we got in, a bunch of SEC defensive line talent?
Oh, there's needs. Justin, there's needs all across the board. But like corner, safety, linebackers is. Are you saying that's more pressing than D-line?
No, but it's the one thing because listening to people on Twitter, they're like, "Oh, Willie Martinez has got to go. Oh, Jean-Marie's got to go."
That's silly.
The one position group everyone seems to give a pass on because it's Rodney Garner is defensive line. In my opinion, defensive line also didn't have a very good year. We couldn't get off the field on third down. That comes to pressure. What's concerning to me, you've got Byron Young on the outside. Roman Harrison, in my opinion, does well against non-SEC teams. I would rather see him at inside linebacker. I think when he goes up against bigger tackles, he gets swallowed up. So if Tyler Barron now moves inside, who's your pass rusher besides Byron Young?
Jared Verse.
That's
hopefully.
why. That's why it's important to get him. I thought Rodney squeezed as much juice
100%.
out of the orange as possible. Yes, they would. No group on defense as good as we needed to be, but I thought we got more squeeze out of defensive line.
We absolutely did. My point is, it's all 3 levels. You can't just say, "Oh, we need to bring in better cornerbacks," because I'll tell you right now, when it's 3rd and long, you got to be able to get home. If you bring in Elias Ricks. They're still going to find a way. If you give the quarterback enough time, they're going to find someone open. They're going to find a tight end open. They'll scheme something up.
Oh, I agree.
So, I just think it's a personnel across the board. As far as tackles for losses and sacks, that to me was Tim Banks. I thought he was really, really creative this year.
Yeah. Listen, I agree. Every level has to be addressed, which is why we spent the time we did on Jared Verse, and that's why it's so important for him to sign with Tennessee from the transfer portal. But we were talking about the worst. Like
Yeah,
our conversation was the worst based on what we saw this season, especially in the bowl game. What is the worst? And the worst situation, that debate was between corner and safety, but there's no doubt that every position needs to be addressed. Every position needs to be looked at and needs to add talent to.
On offense, too.
Every position. That's what every position means. Right. Every position.
Cedric Tillman needs
every
a
position.
Running mate. I think it'd be nice to add a dynamic running back if the right one presented itself. You did go out and add the tackle transfer from Florida, but adding another offensive lineman in general would be good. I mean, outside of quarterback, I mean, every position on the roster could use an addition.
Yeah, every position means every position. Offense, defense, special teams, every
we were
position.
Just strictly talking about defense, which is why I made the point that I made.
No, and I agree with you guys. The most pressing need is corner, but it feels like defensive line's getting overlooked because, everyone's got a lot of faith in Rodney Gardner, and so do I, and he's going to get the most juice squeezed out of the fruit that he can. My point is, you better get some juicier fruit because look at what's leaving. Look at what contributed this year and what's leaving, and you start, how is Tyler Barron going to make that transition? Hope very well, just don't know. So
here's the other thing about Tyler Barron, Justin, is there's some that already question I'll just flat out say it, question his toughness at outside linebacker. If people are questioning his toughness at outside linebacker, how in the world are you going to play in the interior of the defensive line in the SEC?
Yep.
So he's going to need a mentality shift as well.
Yeah, this is why you recruit. And those 7 players those 7 spots you have available, you can't miss, man. You can't miss, and you better go in that portal. Better have a plan. You cannot afford to miss because you got to address multiple positions.
Hey, Swain, real quick, are we self-imposing any scholarships? There was talk about it. I mean, I don't know. Can we actually use the full 7, or are we going to have to use the full 7, take off 5, and I'll hang up and listen? Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything official about thanks for the phone call. That was weird. I haven't heard anything official about the number of scholarships that will be self-imposed. I know that Tennessee has said, listen, we're going to play in this bowl game. We're going to do some things moving forward, but we are not going to punish people that had nothing to do with the acts of the people who are not here anymore. So I'm sure there's going to be some type of some punishment in terms of scholarships. I don't know the exact number. And if I'm Tennessee, I say, yeah, we'll impose those, but we still need these 7. We got to have these 7 first.
Yeah, and I mean, if they did, I mean, I think it'd only be like one scholarship reduction that they self-imposed, maybe 2. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, but I don't think it'd be a ton.
Yeah,
if they did in fact do that. And Swain, I know earlier you and I were just strictly talking about corner and safety, but to Justin's phone call, maybe defensive line is the most important need on the defense, because you lose Caleb Tremblay, you lose Matthew Butler, you lose Jaquan Blakely, and you don't have much coming back that you feel a lot of confidence in. And in my opinion, the defensive line and just kind of front 7 in general is the most important position on the team. So, or especially on the defense. So maybe that defensive line room is the most important going into the offseason. I don't know. There's so many needs on this team that you could talk yourself into any position being the one that needs help the most.
The reason why I look at corners is because you shouldn't be getting beat as bad as we do on 3-step drop. If you can't defend 3-step drop, you got a big problem. And I'm not defending the defensive line like that. You know, they don't need help. They need help too. We got to have help in all areas on defense. But to see what South Alabama, what Purdue was able to do in a 3-step drop game, that makes me look at the corners and go, man, we need some big time help. And I think Rodney Garner will be able to attract defensive linemen. But corner scares a living daylights out of me, man. It really scares me. SEC, Justin is right. It is about the trenches. You got a good defensive line, man, it puts a whole lot of pressure on the opposing team and takes a whole lot of pressure off of yourself. A whole lot of pressure. So it's a really good phone call from Justin. Let's go back to the phones. And good morning. Who do we have?
Hey, good morning, Jason. Nathan here in Chattanooga. How
What's
are you?
up, Nathan, man? Good morning.
Good morning. Y'all have a good Christmas and New Year and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Hope you had one as well.
It was good, low key. That's about how I do it now, so it was really good.
I understand.
So is it, with the schedule that we have next year, what's the probability that we stay on the level with the kind of season that we had last year, or even, drop another game? With what, because with football, all of us, we automatically assume that when somebody's, every year is to get better, just like in a corporation.
Mm-hmm.
Every year you're supposed to have growth and more profit. Everybody thinks, regardless of the scenario, that you're supposed to have more growth every year and you're supposed to win more games. But with what you see realistically, with what we have coming in, what we losing in our next year's schedule, what do you see for next year?
I put us at the same win total right now.
Okay.
Same
expectation.
7
should
or
have
8
that
wins.
same type of expectation. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Until we see something different with the roster, we see something different at the beginning of the season. I mean, I think it's difficult, especially after the phone call we just had about some of the holes, and then feel like that 9 wins is something that Tennessee could easily get. I don't feel that confident. I do feel like Tennessee should go up there to Pittsburgh and have a better showing. I think they should be the favorite, honestly, but still got to beat Florida. Still got to prove that you can do that. And Alabama, Georgia's always, that's always going to be difficult. There's no changing that. The South Carolina game is going to be. That's going to be a toss-up, man. Kentucky game is going to be a toss-up, just like it was this year. We beat South Carolina down, but Carolina's going to get better, just like we are getting better. So I'm going to go 7 wins, 7, 8 wins right now until something changes. Ben?
I agree. I'm in that same boat. There's just too many holes throughout this football team to expect 9-10 wins, and having that same expectation going into year 2 isn't a reflection necessarily of Josh Heupel, but I think it speaks more to just how big of a hole he stepped into when he took over the job, and just continued after effect of everything that took place when Jeremy Pruitt was fired, and you had the guys that transferred out. I mean, your roster was depleted, and it's still depleted. I mean, you can't solve the roster issues within one off season.
About kind of where I was at.
Yeah, it's a 2 to 3 year deal.
I was thinking maybe year 3 we should start having, really start seeing a big jump.
Yes.
Last thing I'll
my
say
change
is
in expectation, Nathan, is really on the recruiting trail. Like that's
Right.
where I'm now expecting
Exactly.
more. Is like, okay,
Right.
you should take the next step in recruiting now that you've established yourself, and if you do that, then that will start to translate to on the field.
Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting how it looks like Texas A&M is going to have the supposedly, according to 247, the best recruiting class of all time. It's just kind of odd. I mean, it's just kind of odd a little bit about how they're pretty much mediocre, really, when you look at the win-loss total compared to what Kevin Sumlin did there and what old dude's been down there. So I'm not throwing anything at anybody that we probably we don't have no room to talk, but it's just a little fishy.
It ain't fishy.
We'll
it ain't
see.
fishy, Nathan. We know what's going on.
Yeah.
Listen, Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Texas A&M has been playing around for years. They have not tapped into their potential for years. Texas A&M, Nathan, tore down their existing stadium and built a new one from scratch.
Yeah, that's great.
$450 million. Who can do that? Only a few programs in the country can do that. The oil money at A&M is serious. They went out and paid Jimbo Fisher big money. There's no secret. Texas A&M said, hey, man, if Alabama's doing this, if Georgia's doing this, we got way more money than those guys. We're about to start doing it. And we have the NIL to help us out, too. Remember the Tex Ag recruiting service there? They paid Isaiah Spiller $10,000 to do interviews. Part of NIL deal. Like, they got money, and they're using it. So they've always kind of been like a sleeping giant, not using their resources, and now they are. I'm surprised they haven't been recruiting like this before because they got more money than everybody else.
But so many times, like with college, high school, whatever, you just look historically at where they've been, and when you look at number of national championships, number of conference championships, they've just not. I'm not saying that they're garbage, but I'm just saying that they're middle of the road at best.
Yeah.
All-time wins, all that kind of stuff. So, but they're throwing a lot of money at it. Evidently, they got some boosters that are passionate and just going all in.
Their offers, Nathan, are crushing everybody else's offers. Crushing. And that's what Lane Kiffin was talking about when he was, venting his frustration about the NIL, how there's no guidelines, there's no parameters, it's just free falling because teams like Texas A&M is blowing everybody else out the water by six figures. Like, it ain't even close to what Texas A&M is offering these young men.
With the NIL, and you talk about Texas A&M offering them these NIL deals, so do they negotiate I thought they're not supposed to be that involved with it. They negotiate these deals with boosters, with businesses there locally. How are they offering, per se, more?
The school is not supposed to head up these negotiations, but there's a way around it, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah,
and that's why they're doing what they're doing right now in recruiting. And like, I'm okay with not being a top school that offers the most money because A&M is going to waste more money than anybody else because they got some guys, I think, signed that won't pan out. They're going to overspend. They're going to overspend. But if you're A&M, you're like, hey, I'd rather overspend and win than underspend and lose. So that's the mentality they're taking right now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hey, last thing I'll say, and I'll let you go. And you may disagree with this. You know a lot more about this than I do. But I felt like on that play where we had, I think, like 40 seconds left, and we had the opportunity to get close enough for a field goal for our guy. And I'm trying to remember. I hadn't watched the game twice, so God forgive me. But it seems like, in my mind, we should have been scheming for 10 to 15 yards, and that should have been our focus to get in position for a field goal to win the game. But it's like we didn't connect that, and we were going deep, and that was very confusing to me, that whole series there, what we were trying to accomplish. And I somebody made a mention of that. I said something on Twitter, and a guy that was from UCF said, kind of commented back saying that's Josh Heupel in a nutshell. So I don't know. What are y'all's thoughts about that? I'll let you go.
Hey, thanks.
I know we got. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Nathan. No, I 100% agree with you. If you are Tennessee's offense and you are at that position with multiple timeouts in midfield, you're not okay with walking away without any points. It's supposed to be a potent offense. You don't walk away without any points. All you need is one more point than the opponent. And that's fine. You can take the deep shot all you want to, but that's a low percentage throw, and you could have ran different routes in an intermediate zone or short zone to pick up more yards to put yourself in position just like you did against Kentucky. That was That was the problem. As potent as our offense is, we walked away with 0 points after having timeouts right there in midfield. That can't happen. That can't happen at all. So, got to call a spade a spade. I love the direction that we're going into. I like our coaching staff. I'm pumped about the culture. I'm pumped about the synergy around our program with our donors and our boosters and our supporters. More people are on the same page now than ever before. Like, I am very optimistic about our near future and our future. But the spade is a spade. Hendon and Heupel and other players on this football team and units on this football team did not have their best day against Purdue in the Music City Bowl. And that's why we lost. It is what it is. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning.
Hey, Swain. This is Vala Birmingham.
Hey, Vala Birmingham. What's up, man?
Not much, buddy. How you doing?
I'm better than you are because you're in Alabama and I'm in Tennessee.
Every day of the week. Every day of the week, bro. Every day of the week. Oh, man. Golly. Well, I just want to start by, is Ben still with us?
He's still here, man. I think he's picking up his nose or something. Or he's shopping for minivans.
That's right. I just want to tell him congratulations, man, to him and his wife. It's the best gift that he'll ever receive.
That's right.
For sure, without a doubt.
Thank you, buddy. I
Most
appreciate
expensive gift
you.
he's ever
Hope you had a
received.
happy holiday.
It was all right, man. You know, down here in Alabama, like Swain said. You know, best we can do. But talking about this NIL deal, I just want you to tell me whether I'm right or wrong about this. But it's not, in my opinion, about. We were talking about Cade Mays, you know, a couple weeks back and stuff about him. Then the NIL deal he was wanting and everything, and the amount. And it's not necessarily. It was high, but it's not necessarily about the marketability, in my opinion. It's about the performance on the field when it comes to some of these coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Because it used to be, you know, if you needed some funds for a guy, they would call your big booster and be like, I need such and such for this guy because I want to keep him or blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
And now they just funnel that through NIL deals, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, in a roundabout way, I know we're getting in the weeds, but so with Texas A&M, you know, they're out here, they're like, hey, I want this guy, I want this guy, I want this guy. And they're like, oh, well, I don't care if that guy's marketable, but we're going to money launder this money through this business so-and-so to allow this guy to get it. And now it's just all legal.
Dang, Val Birmingham, you didn't have to put it that way.
Well, I'm just saying, I mean, am I wrong or am I right?
I mean, hey, man, you have different avenues to get the money to the player, and you use NIL to give him opportunities to earn that money by the work that they do.
Cough.
Yeah, I mean, goodness gracious, Walla Birmingham, man. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
That's the concern. I mean, that's the concern of a lot of coaches in college football that are at a disadvantage, who are not at big programs. That what you just said is what we're going to see and what people are already doing.
That's what's happening.
Yeah, you got to have it pointed to a legitimate business. I mean, if this young man is getting $100,000 in deals, okay, what's his deals? Like, all right, name the companies. What is he actually doing? Is he doing anything? Remember back in the day when I think it was like OU got in trouble because this car dealership was paying these players, and the players wasn't even showing up to work. It's one thing to pay them, but at least make them show up. Like if we do Tennessee Prime and we want to pay a dude $1 million per episode, it's okay. It's a lot, but at least he's still showing up.
Yeah. Well, so my question is this, and I guess because there's no rules, that's why these schools are just going buck wild right now. But so because they don't have to actually say what their deals are, there could be a so-called company paying these kids to market for them, and all they got to do is send out a tweet, and they're paying $1 million.
Yeah, I mean, technically, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so that's why Texas A&M is just going ham right now.
They are.
Because literally that's all they've got to do. Hey, send this tweet off, you'll get your $1 million and go on. And because there's nobody that has to – there's no accountability for it.
Not yet.
So it is the Wild Wild West. So while the getting, you got to – while the getting's good, you need to get it.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
All right, guys. Y'all have a happy New Year, man.
You too, my man. Let's keep it going. Who is next? Good morning. Hello? Hello? You are live.
Hello? Hello?
Go for it. Who we talking to? You're live. You about to be. Not live. Good morning. All right, Ben. Man. Von Birmingham didn't have to put it that way.
Spot on.
I know, man. It was so blunt, right? All right, let's try this again. Good morning.
You know, there's nothing like somebody from Birmingham and knowing how to do something underhanded.
I know, right? I know. I know it, man. I know it. He must had his ears to the ground. Birmingham's just 45 minutes away from Tuscaloosa, so it's probably why.
Did they give everybody there just like a playbook on how to do that kind of stuff, or what?
I don't know anything about anything, Volstorm. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Happy New Year, boys! How
Happy
are you and
New
Minivan
Year!
Ben doing?
Happy New Year.
How are you and Minivan Ben doing?
Minivan Ben, yes. He won't have it with just one kid. You need another kid, Ben. 2 kids, you'd be like Cole Kubelik.
3, you'd be like Swain.
Hey man, we refuse. We refuse to get a minivan.
Totally understand that. Hey, Swain, looking back on the season and looking back on the bowl game, is it fair to say that our offense is inconsistent?
Yeah. It's fair to say that. I mean, look at the second quarter throughout the season.
Well, that's my whole point. You know, we've been one of the best teams in the first quarter, and then the second quarter we just stopped. And it's like a consistent theme throughout the whole season has been that we play really hard for about 2 quarters a game, and the other 2 quarters we either don't show up or we have all kinds of mishaps.
I don't know if I would question the effort, Volstorm. I think effort-wise, it's there.
No. It's not the effort. I wonder if it's a scheme issue.
I don't know if it's scheme either.
They just scored the most points in school history.
It's just I think it's a mentality because it affects both sides of the ball. Defense, we're not good in the second quarter. Offense, we haven't been good in the second quarter. It's a mentality, and I don't know if it's us. I don't know if we can say they're not playing hard. It's just really weird. I've seen teams come out flat, and I've seen teams falter in the fourth quarter. But to consistently be inconsistent in the second quarter is something that I haven't seen ever. Like I've seen again first and fourth quarter, but this is weird, and it's fair. Even with Tennessee breaking offensive records, it's still fair to say that the offense is inconsistent because most teams who are not playing in college football playoff are inconsistent. That's why they're not playing in college football playoff. So every coach is fighting for his team to be more consistent in the year 22. Tennessee was just still better than what we have been in the past and better last year and better than a lot of teams offensively, but we still can be more consistent. Like, that's the fairest way I can say it.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't know if it's a scheme issue. I don't know if it's a player personnel issue. I mean, I can understand the defense because, I mean, hell, when you're out there for that long, you're going to get tired. I don't care who you are. But it seems, I don't know. I just felt like we left a lot of points on the board, especially in the bowl game.
I don't think it was scheme in the bowl game.
Execution.
I don't think it was scheme, Volstorm. I think it was execution and personnel. I think a right tackle, you you can have a dude playing as hard as he can, but you got guys that were walk-ons there. Like it don't matter. You can play hard as you want to. You can pray about it. You can have full energy. Like sometimes you just beat at birth. And so I don't care how great your scheme is. At the end of the day, you got to protect. And we were unable to do that because of the personnel. So I think it's personnel and execution. I don't think it's scheme.
Well, guys, before I go, hey Ben, make sure you get the minivan. It's got the all-wheel drive and the snow tires on it. See you, boys!
What's funny about that, Ben? I am in more danger of getting a minivan than you. You just got one kid, man. You can still roll the Charger with one kid.
I will never have a minivan. Not even worth acknowledging.
You won't, or the wife won't, or nobody in the house will not have a minivan.
Nobody in the house will have a minivan.
Okay. I'm with you, man. We holding on to that same rule over here, man. We're not gonna do it. We're not gonna do a minivan. All right, let's go quickly to the phones before we wrap up today's show. Good morning.
Good morning, Swain. Good morning, Fatherly Ben. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to the folks who are experiencing snow. How y'all like that?
Oh, we love it.
Y'all like it like a lot?
No, I love it. Love it, man. It's been too hot around here. I need the bugs to die.
That's true.
Yeah, man.
That's fair. Minivan Mafia. I think that's what Jacoby calls it. The minivan mafia. McKee, you getting you a minivan?
No, he's not.
Because it ain't about you no more.
I'm not letting this. I'm not letting this start.
Why is this a conversation? I'm having one kid. I'm not having triplets.
I'm not letting this start.
I'm having one kid.
Whoa.
And I will go Tahoe, Expedition, everything in the book.
Those ain't
the
as
only
safe
way
as a
I am
minivan.
driving a minivan is if somebody buys it for me and I don't have to pay a car note each month. That is the only way I am going to be driving a minivan is if I don't have to pay for anything.
All I'm saying is it's a lot more safety features when you're thinking about the little one when it comes
Dodge
to
Charger is
minivan.
very safe.
Shut up, Ben. You ain't
Shut
gonna
up.
be
You
no
don't know what you're
daddy
talking
driving
about.
no Charger.
Why don't you go back to walking around in the snow?
You know what?
Just
Shut
make
your
sure
mouth.
you show up on time for work today, C-Mac.
You know what? Thankfully, I don't have to work today. Okay, my business is closed today. We're recognizing the first of the year. Speaking of recognition, before we have to get out of here, Swain, are we done talking about football for the remainder until spring practice?
No. This is Knoxville.
Ben, how long till baseball season starts?
47 days.
That's wow. Okay, damn.
Next month, Tony Vitello and the boys will be on the diamond inside of Lindsey Nelson Stadium, Friday, February 18th, against Georgia Southern.
Man, I see the Ole Miss renditions. Man, look nice.
Yeah, Ole Miss getting all this new stuff, yet Tony Vitello's getting a fresh coat of paint.
Let's be patient on that.
They're getting new mirrors and new dumbbells underneath the stadium.
It'll happen.
Every SEC baseball program in the conference has either a brand spanking new stadium or great facilities. Tennessee and Missouri are literally the only two teams without either.
I got my pressure
Tennessee.
washer. I'm ready.
Yeah.
No, you keep making your jokes. You're part of the problem.
You see,
I'm choosing violence when it comes to this topic. All y'all go and get your little jokes off. Y'all are all part of the problem. But yeah, Josh Heupel wins 7 games, and y'all want to build him a mansion over in the football facility.
Look, you try to put McKee into a minivan, he ain't gonna fight. But you tell him about Lindsey Nelson, he ready to take everybody to war.
I love it.
47 days. 47 days. Ladies, if you're hearing me out there, that's 4 days after Valentine's Day. Think about that for a second. Let the rivers run flow. Y'all, Happy New Year. I love y'all.
Much
Happy
love.
New Year, man.
Much love, C-Man. Appreciate you, man. All right, got one more. One more, and then we got to run. Who we got?
Oh.
Hey guys, Chip and Jackson.
Hey,
I'm
Chip.
always the last. I'm always late, man. Hey, I had two things for you, and you might want to, touch on them maybe tomorrow or something. I might call back tomorrow. But first thing, on that last play, and I know we need to get off the the bowl and move on, but that last play where they called forward progress or whatever, my first thoughts went back to Ole Miss, but in any event, watching it again, what is the rule on? I know that you can push a player, but pulling him
can't do it.
Like Princeton Fant. Okay, did Princeton Fant grab his arm and try to tug him in?
Yeah, he can't do what Princeton Fant did, but they didn't throw a flag, nor did they even mention it or cite it or anything. So
okay, I didn't know if it was a penalty or if that's like a if they just call it dead. If it's a dead play, if a player tugs or pulls, if it's a dead play or if it's an actual flag.
I haven't seen it called. I haven't seen it called all year. I haven't seen him mention it all year long. Ben mentioned earlier that digging in the rule books after listening to Cole Kublik talking about it is that a referee can deem the play dead forward progress and not blow the whistle, which is unreal to me. So, just another play in the Muse City Bowl that will probably change the rule books again.
That should. Yep. And then the last thing I was going to say, I would like to see a stat on when players go down, when we're running our offense and players go down and it stalls out, because I know that obviously the main feature of running that fast offense is to catch the defense off guard, but it's also a tempo thing. And when players go down, it just seems like every time we stall out like that, that's exactly what it does. It stalls the offense, and we stop moving the ball. I don't know how often that happened. I know it didn't happen every single time, but that's a very good strategy on a team like Tennessee that runs that kind of offense. When you go down and all that good stuff, I'd like to see what the stat is on when that happens. How often we get off the field and don't score points?
It's terrible, man. Everybody does it. We do it. I wish it could go away. Hopefully that will be addressed during the off season. In a huge way, man. I really hope. Thank you so much for the phone call. Thank you so much, Chip. Good to hear from you. Happy New Year to you and your family. Ben McKee, do not bring up minivan to bring Ben McKee, or he will choose violence in 2022. He is not trying to hear it. I love it, man. Hey, Ben, get out there and shovel some snow, my friend. Enjoy your rest of your day. Enjoy playing in the snow with the dog. And we'll be back tomorrow, 7 a.m. For Ben McKee, I'm Jason Swain. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Hour number 3, powered by Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Have a great day. Peace and love. We are out.